little moments spells regret. But I don't have to feel this way, as a voice inside my head Oyasumi
It is Wednesday, my dudes, and when it is Wednesday, we paddle in the pool. Welcome to Paddling Pool 324. I am Frostix, joined by Pat. Two Paddling Pool mainstays here for at least the first block of this tournament. Pat, how are we feeling going into this?
I am feeling great, and to start this all, we are in the group stage. We'll start with communication error, going against a team that just gave us 2 exclamation marks as their team name, but we looked at their logo, it looks like it's a bear called Rilakkuma, so that's going to be their name now.
Hope you don't mind it. 2 exclamation points, or as we are now going to be calling you, of course, famous bear mascot Rilakkuma. Anyways, best of 3 set for a good chunk of this group stage as we open on Great City, Crab Leg Capital Splat Zones.
Yeah, Crab Leg zones. I mean, it's zones to open. That's a good, good mode. Very well balanced between any kind of teams, but on a very unique map that gives a lot of advantage to the team that is going to have the longest range. I know a few players that have discovered the Crab Tank thanks to the new weapons and are telling me, oh, this map is better for me now.
Yeah, I've been seeing a whole lot of that new Dreadringer with the Crab Tank here. But if we're seeing anything in particular already, I think that is communication error sporting that Hydro with the bubble. They're also sporting the 96 with the cooler, and as well as that vanilla machine, which we haven't really been seeing a lot of lately.
Yeah, I mean, Mauve with the Hydra has been a Hydra main for years, since at least Splatoon 2. And I mean, they're very good with it. I'm glad that they get to play a new Hydra and show us how it's done right now. Communication error, making it work very well. They're already ahead of the zone. Here comes the answer by Rilakkuma.
Yep, and now Vivian's trying to get a little bit of a move on onto the zone, but they're being zoned out by Kita with that V-Machine. There's 2 specials ready on the side of communication error. Already the Booyah Bomb being charged up by Kita, the Kraken being deployed by Rin here. Vivian, once again, pushing up, getting rid of that machine here. Even still, Rilakkuma haven't exactly found their footing just yet, but with 2 members down on communication error, things may change. Mobs going down too, and this may just be the zone flip.
Vivian being incredibly deadly with his Ju is able to really push the team in, deny so much space by communication error, and now communication error are waiting, preparing their special so that they can get a push together. But there's already a bubbler on their top left, and they need to defend. It's pretty rough for communication error as Rilakkuma is holding the numbers advantage still.
Santo's just deep in enemy territory, just stalling communication error ever so slightly. Now Rilakkuma is almost at 41. They will be able to toss the lead in their favor, and they're still holding off communication error very effectively here. That Booyah Bomb not claiming a lot of space so far, but it will allow Rin the space to go in, and finally the zone will be flipped for communication error.
Communication error very much struggling to get that push. They had to use all of their resources to get that. Now Rilakkuma, can they push again? Can they do that again? They got to 28 in their first push at the zone. Now, if they were to do that again, they would win the game.
Oh yeah, especially considering Rin is deep in enemy territory, just like Santo was earlier. Santo going down first. This Kraken cannot be stopped with a bubbler being deployed by Vivian. That would stop Rin as well. 2 members down on Rilakkuma, on communication error here. Now Rilakkuma is trying to strike back with the Zuka flying out from, I think, the Wiper, or not the Wiper, but someone. But now communication error has gone 4 down. Rilakkuma is back in control of the zone. They have a lot of penalty points to work with.
Yeah, but both of these teams have shown how good they are once they are in control of the zone. It's hard to push now. Rilakkuma, they don't have that much penalty, and there's 2 down on Comer already. Rilakkuma doing everything they need to do to stay in control. The Zuka is prone, is not going to find its mark, but we're done with the penalty, and communication error is back on the attack with the Kraken.
Getting at least a pick onto that head, that's no soda. Booyah Bomb's flying out from Kita, and Santo is trying to stay alive. They are so close to taking this lead back. There it is! Within the last push, they're close to knocking it out too! And with no paint on the side of communication error, Rilakkuma will be taking that game 1.
I mean, we saw both teams really struggle to push, but in the end, it's all exclamation marks that was able to really take the victory, take the point by staying in the zone longer. And in that last push by Communication Error, really shut it down before Error could even paint the zone.
Yeah, like they're just making sure that Error is just constantly guessing on where those aggressive members of Rilakkuma are. Vivian with those with the new dualies, and Santo with that new wiper, just constantly going in there, keeping Air on their toes.
Yeah, and Santo took a lot of control, a lot of attention throughout most of his game, really enabling Rilakkuma to stay there on the map and delay a lot of what Communication Error were wanting to do. And Communication Error, with that Hydra, they had the good tools to stay in position. They didn't have that much of the tools to push, and it cost them when it was time to get in. Now, going into Clan Blitz Frostix, we're probably going to see a different dynamic with, I mean, at this point, Communication Error, they need ways to push in, they need to really force their way in, and I guess the Slusher with the Tri-Strikes will be so important for them.
Definitely so. Tri-Strikes are just such a valuable special to have in a mode like Clan Blitz here. And already First Blood going to Santo, getting rid of those V-Sloshers, and they're not done entirely just yet. That headed, not the headed, but the Rapid Blasters going down. That's no Soda for Rilakkuma just yet here. Right now, of course, the early game of Clan Blitz is entirely dependent on how fast you can collect those clams and perhaps get a really strong early push here. And already Air with a ball of their own.
And Error able to bring the ball under the basket, but not throw it in. That's going to be the end of that push. They didn't really manage to get in, and Marvelous gets splatted by Santo on the wiper. Now it's Rilakkuma with numbers advantage, with the specials trying to get their way under the basket. They have the ball. Can they open it? Yes, and they're in a dominating position with Manchild on the crab tank.
Firing off onto Error's spawn here. Not a lot of clams going in just yet, but even still, they set a half-decent start at 71. Ideally, when it comes to your first push in clams, you ideally want to go for that 60 threshold here, but right now, Error should have at least enough clams to have a potential comeback. They just need to execute it properly.
It's pretty rough for Error. Every time they manage to get some ground, there is someone from Rilakkuma to punish them, to get back in. But Rin is still able to move around with that shot and activating the Kraken to create some space for the rest of the team. That's going to push Rilakkuma back in their spawn and allow Communication Error to really take control of all of mid.
They did get control of mid, but with that shot going down and wasting Kraken, I think that's a very strong breaking in tool that's unfortunately not going to be there right now. And we're seeing Air still held at mid, not allowing to get into the basket. But with the Tri-Strikes coming out here, things may change.
Oh yes, the basket is open and the lead isn't that big. Marvelous has a lot of clams with that Hydra, is able to get so many splats. Basket stays open and Communication Error takes the lead, but right now they just lost 2 players. They will have to move back, try to keep some control over mid if they want to stay in this game. We're only halfway through and Communication Error has the lead now.
Yeah, but Rilakkuma has 2 power clams at their disposal. Man, Child's Crab immediately going down to a well-placed bomb. That Rapid Blast is going down as well. Air is making quick work of all the members of Rilakkuma. 3 down. Already Rin's Kraken is ready to rip as well, and it's being deployed. Goggy is almost at a power clam. That's another break for Error, and the score keeps lowering. Mauve's bubble will allow more clams to fly in from both Mauve and Kita.
Very great moves by Communication Error, able to extend their lead, but they lost all of their players in the process, Frostix, and now it's on Rilakkuma to get the comeback, to use the ground to move in. They got rid of Rin. That means less Kraken, less burst bombs to the face. Ridakuma is in a very good spot to take control as long as they're able to get in. Now Marvelous with the Hydra trying to defend, but there's 2 players down on Kamera, and Ridakuma are looking for a way in. Kita to the side with the Slusher is trying to stop them, but is called out right now.
That being said, they will at least take down the head with them, and there's no one on Rilakkuma willing to keep the basket open for long, as now there's going to be around 1 minute left here for Rilakkuma to take this lead back, 34-65 here. If there's one thing I definitely want to point out, it's how consistent Mav has been on that Hydra here, a one-man army.
Yeah, incredible with that Hydra, and right now Communication are doing what they need to do. Trades are enough for them, and right now Kamera has the numbers advantage, has a super climb at the ready, because why not? 30 seconds left, and Rilakkuma are still present on the map, but are not finding their way forward.
And that being said, they did suffer 2 members down. Rin is searching for Manchild right now. Run away from Rin if you are that headed here. Now, there's going to be less than 30 seconds left here. Calm Air still has a bubble in the hands of Mav here. And you don't want to mess with Calm Air's comp on defense here. You need to work this out in overtime, Rilakkuma here. 5 seconds left. Overtime is going to start soon.
Yeah, and that big bubbler that was so useful under the basket right now is so great to enable the defense, solidify Communication error. They know all they need to do right now is hold the ground, hold their presence. Mob getting the extra splat, that's 3 down on Rilakkuma. We are going to a game number 3.
Wait, I was thinking something could have been different with Santo making a mad dash with that power climb, but you are correct, Pat. We're going to game 3 here.
Fun fact, overtime lasts 15 seconds, and each buzzer of the clock, the beep, beep, they're all 1 second, so you can count and know exactly how far you are in overtime.
I didn't know that, actually. That's very informative here.
Yeah.
That's actually really nice. But I think, it's like you said at the start of the game, Pat, we're going to see a different dynamic from Calm Air this time around here, switching with Kita, with Kita switching to the V-Slosh. Of course, that's going to at least provide the tri-strikes, which are good for both defending and just breaking in with at least a faster time to execute. Meanwhile, the weapons that we saw from Calm Air in the Zones match before, that new Hydra, that new 96, and that new shot here, they're working really well on Clan Blitz just because of how well they can hold down space and just lock down an area here. Once again, like I'm saying, man, Mav is a one-man army.
Actually, I believe Mav is a one-woman army.
Mav is a one-woman army.
But yeah, we're going to go to a completely different map mode. We had the 2 very flat spaces where people were running around trying to get some control. Now we're going to play Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track, and getting control of that hump is going to be key in taking control of the game and creating some momentum.
Okay, so we saw, I think, from both teams, just a really interesting dynamic with Rilakkuma being that unstoppable force and Calm Air being that immovable object, and I think Rainmaker is the perfect clash of these ideals. Did I just see Mav on Hedit? Yes, we are seeing Mav on Hedit, but this is the Hedit with Crab. That's going to be interesting here, because of course Goggy is running the Soda for Calm Air, so we'll just have to see how this new switch-up will fare against this very aggressive comp from Rilakkuma, as we're also seeing the custom Explo.
Yeah, I love the Explosion. I can't wait to see a good Explo. Especially on this map, it works very well because the map is good for all kind of slushers like Kita dancing around, punishing the attack. Sento going in though, and Sento again is so powerful with that wiper, never mind the curling. Right now it looks like Rilakkuma has taken control of the mid and are looking for a way onto the checkpoint.
Yeah. Once again, Calm Air is ensuring that Rilakkuma does not get any space, doing their best Gandalf impression. You shall not pass here. Mob has the crab ready to go. This can obviously just lock down this choke point if need be. Here comes the soda from Goggy as well. Now Calm Air is juiced up. Here comes the crab from Mob. One woman army as the Rainmaker is reset. Progress has been halted back to neutral.
Yeah, and I mean, we're still pretty even, but there's 2 down on Rilakkuma. They are forced out as communication error. It's their turn to get on to mid, and Rin is already pushing forward in the street, activating the Kraken to punish anybody that would dare grab a drink, but they're forced out. Center trying to stop the Rainmaker. It's not going to work. The checkpoint is broken.
Being said, Rilakkuma responds with a wipeout of their own. This will at least allow them to get past mid and perhaps that first checkpoint, so long as Rilakkuma can find the space or more so find the numbers with the comp they're working with. Vivian has gone down, but they did at least deploy the bubble, securing that first checkpoint for Manchild to break. The splashdown's coming out from Tyrea as well here, and now it is a matter of breaking past the bottleneck.
We are pretty even, but it's 2 players down, 3 players down on Camera. Rilakkuma take the lead and get the first push through the street. Able to simply keep themselves here. The answer from Camera is coming with all of their specials activated to shut things down. Ring going in with a Kraken, but misses the charge, and that's a 21 points for Rilakkuma right there.
Fortunate miss from Rin, which just allowed the members of Rilakkuma to just run like the wind, extending their lead to 21, and now is the time for Calm Air to strike back with a vengeance, already getting rid of Vivian, but you need to watch out for that X-Splasher Tyrea because that splashdown could cause some damage, but at least they managed to secure a pick onto both the head and the X-Splasher here. Now they're approaching that bottleneck. Vivian is guarding it with the best of their ability. Mauve as well as Rin are on the scene, and they're rallying the rest of Calm Air to that bottleneck. And now, once again, a matter of breaking past it. No specials are in line for Calm Air. Meanwhile, Santos firing off with the Zuka, the triple splashdown ready from the X-Splasher as well. It just depends. Will they break through, Pat?
It's right now, Camera is playing a game of patience, waiting for an opportunity, trying to find a way in, and here comes up. That was almost their way, but the answer by Rilakkuma is very much an iron defense, not letting them go through and punishing them with the Zuka to seal the deal. There's still 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this game, but Rilakkuma are playing this game pretty strongly.
Their aggressive comp just allows them to do that, and already Tyrea claiming 2 members of Calm Air with that splashdown. The bubble has been popped by Rilakkuma as well. Mauve is in a tricky situation, being forced to pop the crowd, at least getting rid of Tyrea. That's a very strong start here. That being said, Goggy has gone down, but at least they deploy the soda. Rin's trying to make a run for that Rainmaker. It is going to be reset right back to mid. Progress is at neutral here, but there's under 1 minute left for Calm Air to take this here. They are in the hands of the Rainmaker. Rin is trying their hand at getting some more picks with the Kraken. Santo will be cancelled out of their Zuka by Rin's Kraken, but with Vivian guarding the line, they will be able to intercept the Rainmaker.
And right now, Camera are back in control of the Rainmaker, but look at the clock, 30 seconds left. This, in Tacticular, is the last as Camera are trying to trace their path onto the street. The Kraken is there to protect Mob, but the Kraken misses for just a split second. They need to rip up. They only had 10 seconds. They don't have much time. Everybody's jumping in, but all of Rilakkuma is defending. The rip up is for them. They get 1. They get 1, but they don't get the lead.
That was so much things happening in the last 10 seconds, Pat. First off, the Rainmaker gets dropped, and then it was in bubble for the last at least 5 seconds. It was only Goggy left to pop that Rainmaker, but they managed to at least rally the rest of Calm Air onto the bottleneck here. They managed to get the pop. They managed to get multiple members of Rilakkuma down, but they dropped the Rainmaker once more right when the timer ticked 0, not allowing overtime to pass here. I've made so much pop culture references this match here. If Calm Air is Gandalf saying "You shall not pass," Rilakkuma is Virgil saying "I am the storm that is approaching."
It was so close in the end. As you said, we get 20 more seconds of game Comer gets the repop on the Rainmaker and could have gotten the lead, but they were forced by the clock to dive in to try. And it didn't work. They missed by a hair. Ririkuma gets this game and gets this set 2-1. But it's group stage. It's group stage. There's still more to do by Comer. They'll still have the opportunity to prove themselves and qualify for the top bracket.
Of course, and with Jordan as a streamer, we're right back to the brain rot zone here. Now I'm fixated on the Subway Surfers, as I usually am on Wednesdays here at Dapple Productions. But of course, there's a lot more paddling pool ahead of us. 2 more rounds of group stage and an entire alpha bracket to see after that. So don't go anywhere. Paddling pool. We'll be right back.
And we're back with round 2 of groups here in this paddling pool 324. This time we're going to watch Mimikyu going against Alpha Sigma Squad, Frostix.
Somehow I feel like it is going to be a mental challenge to consistently say Alpha Sigma Squad with a straight face. So we'll just have to endure the gauntlet of another 3-game set here. And your connection to the host apparently has been lost.
You know, you don't have to keep a straight face.
So,
but yeah, we're going to remake the lobby, I guess, and we'll get there. That means we have a bit of time to talk about these maps, Frostix.
Yep, once again best of 3 set as is the custom for group stage here. First game. Okay, so I saw Robo Ramen, and then it's like, okay, you know, we're opening with Robo Ramen, very classic opening. We're opening with Robo Ramen Clam Blitz, Pat.
Yeah, Robo Ramen Clam Blitz, you don't see that much. It was put on the list by Mimikyu. So I guess they have something in store to show us on this map mode that, as you said, we don't see that often. I mean, I find it very interesting because, as you were about to say, like, we play it a lot on zones. But in zones, once you're past the zone, you want to lock the opponent in their spawn by handling the elbow, by making sure that you stay there. Maybe you throw one aggro frontliner in to take the fights. In Clam Blitz, you need to go deeper in. You need to stay right under the spawn if you want to score the clam, so I can't wait to see how these teams do that.
So we're already seeing the new L3 coming out, as well as the new splatter scope. So that's going to be really interesting to see from Alpha Sigma Squad, and with that new L3 on the side of Mimikyu.
I've heard such good things about this new charger. I love to see that new charger in. Also, I'm glad that H3 is viable in comp now. It's such a fun weapon, very hard, but very fun to play.
Definitely so here, as we're still scrambling for clams. Already the Tetra going down. Player over here is tossing those strikes, ensuring that splatter scope won't get a lot of time on the crab here. Milk Tea. Oh, I know I'm going to see a lot of slippery squelchies, knowing that Milk Tea is present, getting a pick onto Abyss.
Right now, both teams are trying to establish some control, but Mimikyu have been simply going forward a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. Now they only need to get under that basket with a ball. They have so many clams, but it's between 2 players. Can they get in? They lost their clams. They're going to open the basket, but that's all they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's well, they do have points on the board, but right now, mid is just clear for Alpha Sigma Squad to run through here, and Worthy's just firing off with the crab tank. This lead is definitely attainable, so long as Alpha Sigma Squad can get a push going. They have the Petty Clam to work with already. The L3 has gone down here, but of course, the Squelchies are a force to be reckoned with. It can just put up so much chip damage while constantly evading enemy fire.
I mean, it's the danger of this map. You can take so much control, put themselves in all of mid, collect so many clams, but then you need to get right under the opponent's spawn in order to score. Mimikyu, technically they have points. That could be game, but that's not enough points to feel comfortable. And right now, Alpha Sigma Squad are pursuing the aggro, trying to get in. Oh, wait. Mimikyu have a lot of control over the map again, and are going to try to get in.
Yeah, they are trying to break in already. Rent-A-Cause Tetras are going to be shut down post-splashdown. Mimikyu are just holding down the elbow territory very well, considering like how easily that lead can be swapped. So it just depends on if Alpha Sigma Squad can break in past the elbow into the basket, because Mimikyu are just holding down the line very effectively here.
Alpha Sigma Squad right now with that crab tank are able to really push Mimikyu back and set themselves up to get in. They have enough clams to make a super clam, but they are pushed out and their Tetra is down. which means they're kind of forced to wait a bit longer. Right now they lost a few clams, as they'll have trouble to push. 2 minutes left in this game, Frostix, and Mimikyu is holding strong with that ultra tiny lead.
Really small lead indeed, Pat, here. They're just holding down mid very effectively, not allowing Alpha Sigma Squad to get a glimpse of what their basket looks like here. Milk Tea's almost at a power clam of their own, but with the little amount of damage Squelchies can unfortunately do, they will be shut down by Worthy's crab popping out. Here comes the soda from that end zap as well here. It's like you said, there's 1 minute, 30 seconds left on the clock for Alpha Sigma Squad to take this back here. They need to start breaking in there somehow.
It is a rough Rent-A-Car using the Reef Slider, but instantly punished without finding anything. Mimikyu is taking back control over the map. Again, I guess the first push, I mean, it's looking better and better every second, Frostix. Right now, Mimikyu, they're in control and they're forcing Alpha Sigma to use their resources just to get out of their spawn.
Not what you want to do, especially when there's 1 minute left on the clock here. They still have 2 power clams in their weight, 1 pity and 1 being held by Worthy here. There's going to be around 45 seconds left here. Rent-A-Car's trying to lurk around the bottom end of the map, but they're being called out by the bucket here. That being said, Milk Tea has gone down. The sodas come out for Alpha Sigma Squad as well. Rent-A-Car's Reef Slider could be the key to breaking in, but first they need to find their way in. And with the Slosher as well as the Pencil calling them out, that won't be the case just yet. Under 30 seconds left, Pat.
We are reaching the end of this game, and Mimikyu still have so much control. The Pencil cleaning up. There's a lot of yellow paint. And Alpha Sigma, oh wait! They get 3 down! They have the opportunity, and that's a delayed wipe, and they have the clams. All they need to do is push, but they'll need to do it in overtime. Worthy with the Super Clam trying to get in, getting stopped! The jump is coming in, but it's too far from the basket. That was so close.
So close, yet so far, and no! All the members of Mimikyu are lining up! Is this a Twitter screenshot, or what? And with that, and with only 20 points on the board scored by Mimikyu, they will be taking Game 1!
One clam has been scored this whole game. It was what you doing a drip pick for? Like, that was a close game between these two teams. Mimikyu can breathe a little bit. They get game number 1.
Oh, now I think we're seeing that final bit of it here. I knew that Alpha Sigma Squad was definitely intent on rushing it here, but Mimikyu responded just in time to get rid of Worthy here. And then with Worthy at least signaling the rest of Alpha Sigma Squad to their position, unfortunately, they were jumping to their demise. So they could not get that overtime push going here. They definitely had the means to do it with that delayed wipe at the end here. But the stars were just not aligning in their favor as we go into Game 2. The best map mode in the game, according to you and a couple other people, Pat. Welcome to Stones on Mahi Mahi.
Yeah, and this one was put on the list by Alpha Sigma Squad, which can let them be a bit more confident going into there. But we're going, as you say, on a map that everybody acclaims, that everybody has practiced. We know that Mimikyu is ready to play on there, especially with their fast movement, their fast action. They have the tools to fight on here. We'll see how these two teams do. What I'm really looking forward to on the side of Alpha Sigma Squad is the Tetris to come back to Reef Slide onto the zone.
Never underestimate the amount of cheese within that inflatable Sharky, and Worthy bringing out the V leader. Surprisingly, yeah, I'd say that Mahi Mahi Zones is, I think, one of the maps that at least Leader can play slightly effectively on. Maybe not so much in the map like, say, Brine Water or Umami here. Already, though, Rent-A-Car's going down. That's no Reef Slider off rip for Alpha Sigma Squad, as Mimikyu will take first cap.
Yeah, great opening by Mimikyu, getting an extra splat right now. Alpha Sigma Squad struggling to set themselves on the map. They'll have to wait for the water to drop in about 10 ticks. as their Tetras getting splatted as well. Everything is going on the way of Mimikyu so far as Alpha Sigma Squad activating their specials and are trying to get back in.
We're seeing that Stamper pop the Zip Caster here, trying to trip up the members of Mimikyu. The zone has gone into neutral here. Here comes that Reef Slider from Red. That's what you've been waiting for, Pat, as now Sigma Squad will flip the zone, but not for long here. Mimikyu striking back, 2 members down. They flip the zone right back.
Even if you flip the zone, that's not always enough to really take control of the map. Mimikyu happy to have penalty applied to them as long as they stay in control. This strikes forcing everybody to dance as a Mimikyu is now done with their penalty and back to scoring points in just a second.
They're just holding Alpha Sigma Squad basically in their own court here, but Rent-A-Call's Reef Slider coming out. Zone has gone into neutral, but it's only Rent-A-Call there. They will go down here. That Stamper's trying to get some more picks, or trying to get some damage onto Moxie on the V-Slosh, but they get called out. They're going down alongside the N-Zap. That's no soda for the Alpha Sigma Squad here. No Prime Energy for them here, as now Mimikyu are almost out of the point proper here. They're in the single digits. I don't think Worthy can get the bait from that distance. Same thing with the Stamper. And there it is.
We saw game 1, Mimikyu taking control of the map, but struggling to get right under the enemy spawn. Well, splat zones, all you need to do is take control of the map. That's what they did, and that's how they won. Right there. Alpha Sigma Squad playing well, having a few good fights, but not able to really take control of the space enough. That's going to be 2-0 for Mimikyu.
It's like you said, Pat. While yes, flipping the zone, at least to apply penalty onto the holding team is a good thing. You need to have that follow-up. It can't just be a flip. It has to be a flip, ideally followed by a hold. That way you can get at least points on your end here. But Alpha Sigma Squad, unfortunately, I don't think followed up a lot on those flips that were, of course, provided by Rent-A-Call's Reef Slider. And it just allowed Mimikyu to constantly just pick them off one by one, ensure they have the space advantage, numbers advantage, keeping them in their spawn, making them dance.
Yeah, that was a very nice move by Mimikyu. They get the 2-0, they get to do better. I believe Mimikyu won their previous game in the group stage against Sodapop, which means right now they're up to set. They're kind of guaranteed their spot into Alpha Bracket. They'll have to fight with Cherry Wave for the better seed in the next round. We're going to take a short break. We'll probably show you a different group for the next round. We'll be right back.
And we are back with Paddling Pool 324. For those just joining stream, I'm Frostix, joined by Pat here, and we are now in round 3 of group stage here. We're seeing a Paddling Pool mainstay, Ghost Emoji, and Paris St. Gloofus 2.
Yeah, these two teams fighting for their spots. Let me look at the bracket between these two teams.
I think they both have their I think they have their tickets punched to Alpha bracket already, actually.
Yeah, they both beat the other teams, neither dropped a single game. So now they're fighting for the seeding in the Alpha bracket, and we have seed number 9 be against seed number 10. So it's looking like it's going to be a close one for Styx.
Yeah, dead even here, and okay, that's I'm noticing some names on the board on the side of Ghost Emoji. Is that Mondi IC?
Mm-hmm.
Are they bringing Junior? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But also, in terms of new weapons, we're seeing that Frozen Splattershot Pro in the hands of Wu2, as well as Glash with that new L3, and Miku Hatsune gracing her presence in this tournament with the new Vanilla Charger.
Yeah, PSG has 3 new weapons to bring us, and I really think like these new weapons, even those that are not the best, they allow us to create new comps, to create new strategy, and right now that new strategy is not working as Ghost has taken control over the zone. Here comes the Kraken to try to move them around, but PSG are still fighting. They lose 2 players. It looks like Ghosts are gonna take the zone.
Not just the zone, but within a couple of ticks, the water level as it now begins to drop, and now everything is one-way drops. If anything, PSG2 definitely need to look out for anyone that could be sharking on the side of Ghost, but they at least managed to not just cap the zone, but at least establish a numbers advantage. 2 down earlier on the side of Ghost Emoji here, and they're counting down really fast already speeding past the 80 threshold, past the 70 threshold, into the 60s. Here comes an Inkjet from that L3 being shut down, but at least they managed to take out both Mondi as well as, I think, Zekrom.
Yeah, that was a very nice jetpack right now. Here comes the missiles from that new Pro Voodoo, getting a splat, getting punished. The zone stays yellow for PSG, who are now getting a bit more, but are punished by a Ghost on to the side right there. And we see both teams fighting for that zone. I'm not sure what happened on my screen right there, but PSG is back in control.
Yeah, they're not just in control of the zone, but they're in control of the lead, and they secure 3 picks onto Ghost Emoji. It's only Wu2 left to farm missiles, but they're being called out by PSG2 on these little side platforms here. That being said, Wu2 is almost at missiles here. This can, of course, mass displace and perhaps land some accidental picks. We'll just have to see what happens. The Tri-Strikes are also coming out from Ghost Emoji as well, but watch out for the Inkjet from PSG2. Wu2, you gotta run! Look up above! No, you're getting splatted by Glash!
And right now we have a lot of splats coming. Only 30 ticks left on the zone. PSG2 doing the good work right now as Ghost is waiting for an opportunity, but they need to run at the zone. They don't have the specials ready, but they need to fight their way in. Mondi on the zone, activate the bubbler, is trying to paint as much as they can, but it's too late, Frostix.
Yeah, Paris St. Gloofus 2 playing a very, very strong set as soon as they finally found their footing, constantly ensuring that they keep the storm that is Ghost Emoji at bay, not allowing any more bubble shenanigans from Mondi, not allowing anything from Wu2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, they very much took the control over the game, and the Ghosts, they were able to answer sometimes, but they were not really able to answer that control, that really dominance over the map. The fights were there, but the paint was not there to follow, to allow them to move forward after winning their fights, which means right now PSG2 are going to take game number 1.
So then we're going into game number 2, returning to Clan Blitz. This time it is on Museum. Dalfoncino here, really, really expansive Clams map here, and of course, sporting the perhaps one of the only instances of Clam Blitz Fast Pass, the conveniently placed box.
Yes, this conveniently placed box, it decides so many games. It gives you a lot, especially if you have a junior with Big Bubbler on your team.
Oh, yeah, definitely so here. If you can control basically that entire area where that basket is, it's like, it doesn't really, I think it doesn't even matter if it's like Rainmaker or if it's Clam Blitz here. I think one of the main, I guess, challenges that goes on with Museum in general is breaking past that top spinner. It's a really hard not checkpoint, but choke point to break out of here.
Yeah, it's very much a different way to play. Okay, we've had a few connection issues. The lobby just crashed again as we were trying to set up the next game. So we're going to have a bit of delay. It looks like the room is already back up. That's not going to be long. But as you say, it's a different dynamic than what we had in game one, which is great for our team of Ghost right now, especially since they're the ones that chose to play on this map mode. I expect them to have a bit better. And again, Big Bubbler on Clam Blitz is great. It would allow them to really do a lot, to force their way through. We'll see how they're able to do if they're able to retake control.
Not just that, the bubble being in the hands of a very talented junior player like Mondi. It's right. Sorry, Jorian just put a message on screen saying it's 30 degrees. Me and Jorian, our streamer, are both Canadian. It is humid here, so you know, keep it hydrated here. Wow, this guy sucks at Subway Surfers.
I'm in France and it is super hot where I live right now as well. So I empathize fully. Not humid, just hot. Just super hot.
Yeah, it's hot. And if there's anything hotter than the weather for us right now, it's these matches here. It's these matches here. Feel free to do the temperatures, the Fahrenheit to Celsius conversions, all you need if people are Fahrenheit coded. And we're going back onto the map forecast here. After Clam Blitz Museum, we're going on to TC Ink Blast, the debut of Tower Control for this paddling pool stream.
Yeah. And it's 30 degrees in Grenoble, where I live right now, Jorian. And it's the evening, but the sun has set behind the mountains and it's still so hot. I've had a rough day. But yeah, our players are coming back in. We're still waiting for one, and here they are. So I guess we'll have a game very soon, Frostix.
Very soon indeed. So I remember you mentioned that we may see like another different dynamic here, I think, from perhaps Ghost here. But I think what I'm interested in is seeing something from Paris St. Gloofus here. What I've just been noticing ever since those new third kits dropped is that I've maybe been seeing the resurgence of Inkjet in this economy. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I may be totally wrong and totally stupid, but
Inkjet is the coolest special in the game. It's a jetpack. I love it. It's fun. It looks cool. It feels cool. It's hard, and there's a lot to learn about it, you know. And when one of the weapons that you like is going to have Inkjet, you want to bring it, even if it's not that good. You want to practice it because it's fun, because there's lots to do with an Inkjet. Even if it's not top tier, it's still effective, and having it is in new positions, on new different playstyles, can really enable new things. I've seen bows do great with the Inkjet, and I've seen people that love F3 say, oh yeah, I want to use the L3 now, finally.
Yeah, you know, seeing Glash with that L3 on the Jet, you know, it reminds me of like a lot of other people that have just been like popping out Jet recently. Mooj with that new Stringer, and JJ sticking with that Sorella in the big 2025. But enough about that. We're going in to Clam Blitz Museum. This is match point for PSG2 here. We're still seeing the same comp from them in game 1, and meanwhile, something completely different.
Ooh.
We're seeing C Leader from, is that Zekrom? Yeah, C Leader from Zekrom, and Yoshi on the new Stamper.
Yeah, and without wasting a second, I think it's Yoshi that's going to be called out to the side, but that allowed the rest of Ghost to take a lot of control on the ground, put a lot of pain. Now here comes the answer by PSG2, who are getting the splats and pushing in. That's 3 down. Yoshi, last line of defense, is able to stand true with the Stamper. Both teams really getting some control, but forced out. And right now, Ghost have mid, are pushing in, trying to get some clams.
Definitely so. They do hold the clam economy in their lead 9-3. Not just that, but the numbers advantage as well. Mondi is going to take the fast pass, allowing them to pop the bubble right up onto the basket here. Now they just need the clams ready to go. The missiles have come out, but now members are dropping left and right. Yoshi, Wutu, and Mondi here. And now, and now Paris St. Glufus 2 will be able to stop the push before it even happens.
Yeah, the push has not happened. It is PSG2's turn to push right now. The Crab Tank was stopped, and Glash with the jetpack is allowing the rest of the team to get in and break the basket. And Miku with that charger is getting the splat. That's a wipeout. Paris St. Glufus has control, and Glash is on top there with the L3 getting punished, but that's still 59 for them.
And the damage has been dealt by PSG2 halfway through their points, past that 60 threshold that we were talking about in round 1, Pat, here. Already, Ghost Emoji are right back up on PSG2's little upper platform there. The missiles have come out from Wutu. The Booyah Bomb is being charged, and now Mondi is in the position to bubble with the Power Clam, breaking the barrier for Ghost Emoji. Yoshi is eyeing more clams. They have a second Power Clam that will land, and it will push Ghost Emoji's lead to 57, and the lead has been swapped.
That's a close lead, but that's a lead right now. PSG2, it's their turn to attack, and that jetpack on this map is especially good because that means you don't need to climb on to the plat. Right now, PSG has reopened the basket, gotten the lead. That, I don't think that Super Clam is going to go in, but that's a good control by PSG2. PSG2, yeah, who retake the lead and force Ghost to repaint and prepare another push.
Being said, the lead is very, very close here. If Ghost Emoji can pull the exact same shenanigan they pulled in the last push, that can be immediately taken. Wutu's almost at a power cut, but Mondi has gone down. No more bubble to worry about if you are Paris St. Glufus 2. And already you see the Kraken go in onto Ghost's plat. Zekrom's moving in with a Kraken of their own to get rid of Haya, but they're being forced to jump out, making it out with the hair on their skin. Miku has popped the crab also to quell Ghost's storm that just has not been rumbling for most of the for the last couple of seconds so far.
Yeah, and right now PSG2 are holding their side of the map, forcing a Ghost to really try to find a way in to fight as much as they can. 1 minute 20 seconds left in this game. There's a lot of clams between these two teams. Frostix will see who is able to get the next push with 2 down onto Ghost, but it looks like PSG2 is in a very good spot, if not for that big bubbler.
Yeah, that bubbler just at least securing a little bit more space for Ghost, but watch out and look up above because Glash is mid-air and they are raining down Hellfire here. And Lidl is eyeing that basket with intent, and a wipeout from Paris St. Glufus 2 will allow Paris St. Glufus 2 to keep their push going. That Kraken's unfortunately going to be cancelled, but Lidl is still making things work. They will score more clams in for PSG2. This push is very much still alive, carried by this Hedit here, and Haya is once again taking the fast pass box to push the lead to 28 with Miku. Will get more clams! The lag cheese! The lag cheese!
Just 5 more clams is all they would need to get a KO. They don't even need that KO right now. 3 more clams! The jetpack is punished. I think that's the end of that push, but now I mean, PSG2 just got a monster lead, and Ghost, if they want to get the better seed, they're going to need an incredible push in overtime.
Ghost Emoji definitely need a miracle right now here, but Mondi is eyeing that basket with intent. They will be getting perhaps the first break, and here it is. And now Ghost is wanting to make this work into overtime. Wuchu is in position with another power clan that will go in. The two members are down. Yoshi's charging a Booyah Bomb, getting rid of Glash. Lidl, Yoshi's throwing more clans in. It's close. Mondi will not get more clans in, unfortunately. Yoshi needs to stay alive. No, it's only Wuchu. They're jumping, but unfortunately jumping to their demise with Haya's Kraken putting a cap at this set. Wow.
That was a very valiant effort right there by Ghost. Getting there, very much getting a push, getting so strongly in, but they had no choice but to keep the basket open, but to super jump in, and PSG2 were able to punish them, were able to stop them, get this game, and get the better seed in the alpha bracket.
So we're getting a good look of the replay of Paris St. Gloofus 2's pushes here. Of course, it just stops at a wipeout here. We're also seeing a bit of what Ghost Emoji brought to the table here. And man, honestly, out of all the matches that I've seen from Clan Blitz Museum, I don't think I've seen the members of both teams taking the conveniently placed box shortcuts as much as these two. I think I've seen it from like a lot on Ghost as well as PSG2.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fast game with lots of back and forth between these two teams, but PSG2 able to get a bit more points, able to get that monster push that got them so close to a KO. That will be enough. Ghost, they're playing well, but they still have a bit more to prove if they want to show what they can do on this battling pool 324.
So now, slowly yet steadily, teams are punching their tickets to alpha brackets here. Just looking at the group stage at large, Vanguard, Flamingo in Group A, Brutella and Sigma Nation in Group B, Tamaris and Rilakuma, who we saw earlier in Round 1 in Group C, Bonanza and Super Monkey Fan Club in Group D, Blank Z and Kenmix Corp in Group E, Heavy Metal and Zipcat in Group F, Buff, S-Plast, and Distinct in Group G, Cherry Wave and Mimikyu, who we saw last round in Group H, and Paris, and of course these two teams that you just saw a couple minutes ago, Paris St. Gloofus 2 and Ghost Emoji.
Yep, and we'll take a short break as every team finishes their group and we prepare the bracket. We'll be right back.
Yeah, he was just laying on that tent, on the tent.
It looks like he's really relaxed and chilling over there.
Oh, tent duel right here. Let's go.
But they do get one down. A pick here on Mia will be huge. They're able to get it. If they can get the pen, even better. This might be the chance as a triple. Will it be one more? Oh, so critical.
Healer's coming behind, bombing back to shield, jumping out. He's jumping right into it.
Oh!
While this is happening, there's a flank, and that likely was the cause of one member going down. That's going to be a lead. Two comes going in. Wow, a clam being made and a jump coming in.
Try and get one. Gets one on the wiper. Gets a second. Gets. Oh, yeah, there's the third.
Countered from the other side there. Oh, and Pepe Zuka coming out.
Definitely, but Clef here takes the pick on tower, sees the jumps into their bats.
Oh, gets one.
Oh my god, not the bump kill! Oh! I think you need to play objective, but Mia, Helix with the double, okay.
That's the trade. I mean, that's the best you could ask for in that
And
situation.
Rydia
There it
takes the lead
is.
solo. And with the really rushed ball, and they take it, and they take the lead.
Let's see if they can jump in and score.
This is
Oh my
huge, but we
goodness!
might-
Send it 1, 2, and Kings will be the one here from Pixie Flama, and they'll take it in. And Metro stop the on.
There are lots of tournaments to choose from within the community. Maybe too many. But there's always been something missing. An opportunity to be more than just the best in the West. Because there exist higher stakes, a bigger stage, a global stage. This is the Splat World Series. IPL has collaborated with Area Cup to provide 8 of the top teams from Japan to face off against 8 teams from the West in a one-day 16-team double elimination tourney with multiple streams in both English and Japanese to claim the greatest prize of all, the title of being the best on planet Earth. Splat World Series. Qualifying information coming soon.
And welcome back to Paddling Pool. We are now in the Alpha bracket watching the top teams of this tournament fight it out. And because we had a group stage, Pro Sticks, we are in single elimination.
Yes, this is single elimination. If anything, actually, we're going straight into some round 2 matches here. This is feed. This is set 2.8 Heavy Metal and Sigma Nation. I just saw Squeezer, and we're missing one person.
Yep.
Is that Nova? Whoa.
I guess we're going to reset right there. At least the room is still there, so we only need one player to come back in real quick. But shouldn't take too much time.
Should not take too much time indeed. And it's like you said, Pat, we are still in single elimination now. There is no losers bracket to at least catch your fall. Yeah. If you get knocked out now, that is the end of your journey.
Yeah. I mean, every game counts now. Every single game will decide whether you're in or out, especially this early in the bracket. We still have best of threes. These best of threes, they are brutal. Because I mean, you can't really make too many mistakes. One mistake is all you're allowed. Now we're going to start with tower control onto Macomart, very much a classic of this video game. So yeah, I can't wait to see these two teams fight it out.
Yeah, when it comes down to Macomart, in general, the name of the game is high ground. Stacks, upper platform, snipes here. You want to at least either maintain control of it or contest it, depending on whether or not you're riding the tower or trying to intercept it. So we're now back into the fold here. We're seeing that new Dreadringer kit. So we're going to see some crab action on the side of, I think that's on the side of Sigma Nation. Meanwhile, on Heavy Metal, a very really traditional comp I think we're seeing on the side of Heavy Metal. Head, it's V Slosher, V Shot, and Custom is that CRB? Yeah, CRB.
Yeah. So I believe, yes, Sigma Nation is I think our colors were inverted. Right now it's a very, very good opening right there by Heavy Metal, who are pushing in, already getting past the first checkpoint, and thanks to that crab tank getting more and more points, pushing in, and getting so much, and they're gonna move the tower to the second checkpoint now.
Definitely something that's already a really good start for Heavy Metal, already breaking past that first checkpoint, eyeing that second checkpoint with intent. Atmos is trying to shut it down, but Nagi will be shutting down Atmos, and now Cheap is firing off with a Trizuka here onto Ying, who's running out of time on their crab, getting rid of 2 members of Heavy Metal, and now Sigma Nation is starting to mobilize in order to take back mid.
Yeah, Sigma Nation winning enough fights to reset the tower. Now they need to wait a little bit, prepare the ground as Volt is crackening around, making sure that nobody can stay safe in this mid. That's 2 down onto Heavy Metal. It looks like Sigma Nation are taking the control they want, but there's still a lot of green paint around as they are getting on the tower.
Now it's all about at least contesting those high ground spots. The Tri-Strikes coming in from the bucket. There's a Zuka ready from Cheap well here that can fire off on any unsuspecting members of Heavy Metal if they don't watch themselves. Here comes that Zuka. Will it claim any targets? No. But still, the high ground is being contested by this Headit as well as Atmos and Cheap as well. But those bucket, that Dreadringer is just flinging over stacks and just giving more chip damage, allowing to get more picks for Heavy Metal.
Yeah, very nice moves right there by Heavy Metal, who keep their lead, who keep their control, forcing Atmos out. The tower is being pushed forward again, and here the Zipcaster is punished, but there's a bubbler next to that checkpoint. That's going to allow everybody from Heavy Metal to really get back in position, maintain their pressure, maintain their control, as Sigma Nation is doing their best to push back.
There it is, at least securing a pick on not only the CRB, but also Cheap, as well as Atmos as well. Heavy Metal just maintaining mid very effectively. They're right back on tower, not allowing it to get into their side of the map. That being said, the Stamper has gone down. The Bucket has gone down. There's 2 members down on Heavy Metal as well as Sigma Nation here. It's an all-out brawl here on mid. The score is very close, 53-44. If Sigma Nation can just find the space and the picks that they need, they could take this lead back. But with Heavy Metal having a Crab sitting on tower and with Vault already going down, things are looking a little bit testy.
Yeah, is Crab able to take so much control right there with the Zipcaster to follow through Heavy Metal, maintaining their strong push. But Sigma Nation, thanks to these strikes, are always able to delay, stop the push. But the tower is back on the checkpoint this time, and Heavy Metal is still in this fight, getting more and more.
Now they're at the second checkpoint here, and they're past it now. They're continuing to take down the timer, and with that Crab sitting firmly on tower here, that's going to be a hard thing to stop here as they reach that checkpoint here. The end is in sight for Heavy Metal here, as 1 minute will be remaining on the clock in 3, 2, 1. There's 1 minute left.
Yeah, 1 minute left. Heavy Metal has extended their lead. And Sigma Nation are 2 players down, still forced to defend, still forced to try to keep what they have. Very nice move with the blaster right there, getting a double. Can they stop the tower? Boba's tower is 1 point away from the KO coma. Not able to get it. That's going to be 30 seconds left. As Sigma Nation has the numbers, but they need to go across the whole map, Frostix.
All of them Sisyphus right now. You do not want the boulder to roll down if you are Sigma Nation here. Atmos has the strikes. Cheap has the Zuka here. This could be deadly and it could at least secure them the space, but Cheap's gone down. That's no Zuka. That's no shot. Kama's moving in, getting rid of Vault before going down to Atmos. There's 10 seconds left. This needs to work in overtime. The strikes come out from Atmos here. No one is on tower yet. Someone needs to jump on from Sigma Nation. But no! Wait, are they on tower? Yes! Someone is on tower on Sigma Nation as overtime begins here. They need to get to 1. No one's on tower! Atmos, get on! Yes! Okay, Atmos is back on tower. They need to get this knockout in order to win. And they're on the second checkpoint, but no one's on tower. Atmos, get back on it! Okay, Atmos is back on. FLM is trying to dance around the tower pole. Atmos teasing out the ledges. The tri-strikes come out. No! They won't be! They get wiped out by Heavy Metal!
That is game number 1 by Heavy Metal. I mean, Sigma Nation, they got a good push in the end right there. They were able to show that they could get the push, that they could get momentum. But in overtime, with 2 checkpoints to get back from, that is so much, that is too much. And Heavy Metal, all they needed to do was wait patiently, throw a few bombs and punish Sigma Nation overextending.
They don't necessarily want to go too far on Mako Mart. Next thing you know, you're just too far from your team to be contesting some really important choke points / checkpoints on tower control here. And when you overextend, your presence is lost, your value is a little bit distant here. So now Heavy Metal is at match point as we return to a familiar and friendly face, Mahi Mahi Zones.
Love to see it. Very much, as you say, familiar face for both of these teams, for every player involved. It's the map mode that they have practiced, it's the map mode that they know, where they have something to do. Now Sigma Nation, they need to create momentum. They need to take that energy that they had in overtime and bring it to the whole game.
Exactly here. They need to get through Mahi Mahi, and then they need to go past it and win the tiebreaker on Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker, another familiar face, if we do see it again. As we go into match point on Mahi Mahi Zones, we're seeing the same comp from Heavy Metal. Meanwhile, on Sigma Nation, it's the same comp as well.
Yeah, it's not about the comps, you know, it's about dynamic team movement and how to play together, and keeping the same comp allows you to reinforce that, to keep that going. Now Heavy Metal just got the first splat and deploy a Crab Tank onto the zone. It looks like Heavy Metal are going to go with a strong opening again, Frostix.
That grab in the hands of that Dreadringer Ying is deadly, but here come the tri-strikes from Atmos. That won't get enough paint though. Were they using it to break out of their own spawn? Who knows? Cheat is popping out the Zuka. They at least get rid of Ying, but Vault is also trying to hold down the line. A Kraken's coming out from Vault. The zone has been flipped. Can Sigma Nation get that follow-up? That is definitely necessary after you flip the zone. I think they're at least holding down the line, but Kama is moving in with the intercept, being forced to relocate past that box, and they're being collapsed on by all the members of Sigma Nation. Kama's going down here. I think Sigma Nation will be able to get this lead. So, also the water drop. Here we go.
Yeah, Sigma Nation
Water
doing
drop,
what they need to do right now, getting more and more as Heavy Metal are trying to push in, going to the side, getting a few splats. Ying with these crab tanks has been so powerful. Heavy Metal will retake control, but not for long. They lost 2 players. All of Sigma are coming back in. We'll have another fight over the zone.
Yeah, Heavy Metal are almost out of their penalty points here. Already Kama's going down, that's no Stamper to worry about, and now Sigma Nation is starting to mobilize. Zeku, oh no, LFLM has gone down, that's no Soda or Headed on the side of Sigma Nation here, and Heavy Metal is starting to quell the storm that is Sigma Nation, keeping them in their spawn. Cheeks popping out the Zuka, but Ying has popped the crab in response. A retaliation indeed, keeping Sigma Nation on their toes. Vault going down, Atmos throwing the strikes, won't put the zone into neutral as Heavy Metal takes the lead and are out of the 20 threshold into the 10s.
Heavy Metal right now riding towards victory as Sigma Nation are doing whatever they can to keep some paint onto the zone, but they're losing a few too many players. The Kraken is deployed, that's 2 down on Heavy Metal. Sigma Nation still alive, still in their coma, just able to dodge hit, but not for long. And Heavy Metal, it looks like they're back to the drawing board. They need another push.
Need another push, but Ying has the crab, and that obviously commands a lot of presence up on that high ground, but with Atmos throwing those strikes to Ying's position could prove testy here. Sigma Nation are almost out of their penalty points, but Atmos is gunned down in the alleyway over there as the zone immediately gets flipped by Heavy Metal, and now Kama's Zipcaster will not get a lot of value, but the rest of Sigma Nation is jumping back to their spawn here, and if there's one thing that we've seen from Heavy Metal before, they're good at holding Sigma Nation.
Yeah, I mean, Heavy Metal right now in the positions they want. There is so much of their paint all around the map. Sigma Nation needs a push. They use their strikes and their Zuka just to create space to allow themselves in. But now they need to win this fight. They are in there, but they need to win the fight. They lose too many players. And the Kraken cannot paint. Heavy Metal is keeping the zone. Vault is behind everybody, but Vault is isolated. Oh!
There it is! Sigma Nation flipping the zone with 1 tick left here. But once again, you can't just flip the zone. You need that follow-up. And right now, Vault is dancing around that Inkable, but they will unfortunately be going down to Ying. So Heavy Metal still have a couple more penalty points to work with here. But we've seen them just work through penalties all game here. Ying has Crab once more to fire off on Sigma Nation's upper platform here. They're already past the 20s into the 10s of their penalty points. Sigma Nation needs to mobilize and fast here. Already the Kraken's ready. The Zuka's coming out from Cheat here. They need to flip the zone. Come on. Will they do it? Yes, they will. Once again. And secure a wipeout to boot. Pat, Sigma Nation are not going down without a fight.
I mean, they need a KO to win this game. With 37 seconds left in the game, that's going to be a lot of work right now. Heavy Metal are already back in attacking positions, getting so much aggro. Vault is forced to run away with that blaster right now. That's a quick retake of the zone by Heavy Metal.
Yeah, now there's only 17 seconds left with Heavy Metal being 1 tick away from victory and 23 penalty points away from that tick going down here. Sigma Nation needs to make this work into overtime. Cheek Zuka not finding any targets. They're being forced out by all the members of Heavy Metal, but zone is in neutral. It has been flipped once more. A miracle flip from Sigma Nation, but no, another miracle flip from Heavy Metal, canceling out overtime, securing the set 2-0 for Heavy Metal here. They will be moving forward in Alpha Bracket here to face off whoever wins it between Tamaris and Chemnix Corp. Wow, Heavy Metal have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I mean, Sigma Nation playing well, able to push themselves onto the zone, but Heavy Metal, every time they were pushing, it felt like it cost them one less special. They were able to do it more swiftly as a team, losing less players, losing less resources, which meant they had more to defend, which meant Sigma Nation was struggling to push even more, and in the end, the game was going better and better for Heavy Metal, who didn't mind the penalty because of that.
Yeah, exactly. They were basically 1 point from victory. They just had to constantly play the flipping game for as soon as they got to those single digits here. As long as they can keep Sigma Nation at that 30 threshold in terms of their actual points, they can just play defense for all they care about here. Meanwhile, on the side of Sigma Nation, they're really trying to claw out of their spawn using those pivotal specials that could be used for flipping. Instead, of course, Atmos with the strikes, cheeked with the Zuka Vault with the Kraken. They're really good for at least maintaining holds, but they're also good for breaking out. But when you use those specials for breaking out of your own spawn, you don't have it in the event of a counter push, in which Heavy Metal responds with a crab, and that can already deal so much damage alone. Next thing you know, it's paired with Kama's Zipcaster as well. It spells disaster.
Yeah, that was rough. But that's the game, that's how it goes. Sigma Nation goes home, Heavy Metal advances on the next stage of the bracket. So will we right after this very short break. Don't go anywhere.
Go anywhere. Oh, yeah. I guess by the way, before we say that, I probably gotta say that I will be switching out. Wow, wait, that played? That played. Wow, hi, Hat.
Hello. What's up?
Anyways,
okay.
Well, I'm switching out. Joran, you can do the whole thing where you send me to the depths of stream again, like that one time. Anyways, if you guys want to find me on social media, you can find me at frost6.bluesky.social, like as you see below. On Twitter at tk_frost6, and yeah, if you live in the Toronto area, maybe go to Gomel. I may be casting that. Who knows? You're hearing from Hat and still Pat next, the Hat Pat duo, in the rest of Alpha Bracket. So don't go anywhere. Paddling Pool will come to its conclusion very shortly.
And welcome back to Paddling Pool 324. We are now deep into half a bracket. Lots of things to show between these top teams. I am Pat, here with returning caster Hat. Hat, how are you doing?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for having me on the Splatoon Battling Pool again. It has definitely been a minute since I've been on the mic, and I took a little bit of a break. But now as Splatoon has got an update, we got Splatoon Raiders, and we got the North American Open coming again, I figured it would be a very, very good time to make my return. And how else, or who else should I make a return than with you?
Yeah, I love to have you on the mic with me, and we are in the quarterfinals of Paddling Pool already. It's going to be best of 5 between Bonanza and Blankzy, and I believe they are already selecting their weapons and getting readied up.
Yeah, I cannot wait, because I think this is like one of the first tournaments we're gonna see with all the new weapons, and that Shadow update to me was honestly like insane. I saw it and I was like, holy snap. I did not expect a new update, and not with 30 new weapons. I played around with a little bit, but not all too much, so I'm super excited to see what all of these new weapons bring. I saw some stuff here and there. I don't know all the weapon kits out of the top of my head just yet, so we're going to see as we learn. One thing which I found interesting was that Spanish shot with the burst bomb and Kraken putting the burst bomb even further. And I can imagine it'd be very, very powerful in the hands of the right player.
Well, for sure. Right now, lots of things in this game have changed, but the Crab Tank is still a very, very good special Adel right there, trying to hold some ground as Blankzy are pushing in, taking control, and not only take the zone, like they're ahead of it with a Tacticular. It's going to be rough for Bonanza to push now.
Yeah, they're really pushing into their base, and they're really getting a firm grip on that entry for Bonanza. They have Tacticular at the ready. They will use it to get an advantage, or at least get some more movement, some more damage out there. Crab Tank used, but a Booyah Bomb counters it, effectively nullifying that Crab Tank. Very huge Booyah Bomb from Blankzy, who are still holding control. There's a Kraken on the zone trying to get some damage in. Unfortunately, does not able to do much damage. 3 players down now for Blankzy. A very coordinated push from Bonanza, but it looks like something they would lose to a big turnaround, and they are now in control of that zone, and they're going to play the game that Blankzy was playing for the first couple minutes.
That was a great first control by Blankzy, but now it's Bonanza's turn. Adel already farming the next Crab Tank. These Crab Tanks have been key, have decided a lot of the pace for Bonanza. And now Blankzy are trying to push in as Bonanza is making more and more points for Booyah Bomb. I can hear to the side, it's not going to help that much. Golda trying to get, there has the Reef Slider and is getting onto the zone. That could be penalty, but everybody from Bonanza is there already. Oh!
No, it was not enough from Bonanza. Blankzy did a very good opening push from those duelists, made the zone push before the lead could be swapped 35-20. Both teams are in quite a big penalty moment here. Blankzy is working its way towards scoring points again, but Bonanza is slowly getting all their specials ready. Hammer is out, Tacticular's on the field, Kraken on the field as well. Booyah Bomb waiting above the zone, but the Kraken can't reach it. Broke the armor and got a splat with the help of a teammate. 2 players down for Blankzy. I don't think they're going to hold the zone for all too long now, as Bonanza is now fully committed on pushing in and pushing in further. This is a very, very good back and forth game with these two teams. It's going to be neck on neck at the end here.
Yeah, right there, Bonanza very much establishing themselves onto the zone. They don't have that much penalty left, and if they manage to get rid of it, they could get the lead. But there's 3 specials ready for Blankzy, who are trying to push in. The Hammer is wanting to punish them, but all of Blankzy is running around punishing that Hammer, and now getting onto the zone. We're so close in terms of points between these two teams. Bonanza takes the zone back and the lead.
Very good Hammer to distract Blankzy from the fact that the lead was about to be swapped, and now with them in quite a good lead of 7, but Blankzy has got some work to do. They are in control of the zone though, as 2, effectively 3 players just went down for Bonanza, and 2 specials are at the ready and 2 are out on the field, I believe. So Blanksy definitely have a very good defensive setup here. However, to maintain it is going to be the challenge now, because Bonanza, with all the enemy turf on the field, we're going to have an easy time building up all those specials. Booyah Bomb, where 3 teammates are, Reef Slider, where other 2 teammates are. Nobody from Bonanza got splattered by those specials. Luckily, it's a 3v3 scenario now. The Hammer is out on the field trying to get rid of some players. But no, they got rid of them themselves. Leech swap again for Blanksy, and I don't think that's what they can do now. But Bonanza headed to neutral, but unfortunately did not have the players to keep it in control, as Blanksy takes the first KO of this set.
That Kraken was activated a bit too soon, because when you're in a Kraken, you're no longer painting. You leave a very small trail. That's not enough to paint. And right there, Blanksy recognized, oh, that Kraken is very powerful. It's going to force us to move to the side, but they maintained paint control onto the zone as they were scattering away from it, and that's all they needed to get that KO in the end.
Yeah, a very, very good team play from Blanksy. However, Bonanza was not that far off. Remember, this was 7 to KO. Both teams are very close indeed. It was a bit of a neck-and-neck fight, with the lead constantly swapping left and right. So I don't think Bonanza is just going to take this and give up on all the other games. I'm pretty sure they are going to fight even harder on Rainmaker, Scorch, Gorge.
Yeah, that was a tense game 1, but a nice victory by Blanksy. As you said, we have more games to play. Scorch Gorge and Rainmaker. It's the kind of game, it's the kind of map mode that can go so many different ways. You can have a game be stalled in mid for 4 minutes, and then suddenly one team gets a wipeout, gets the checkpoint, and gets right under the KO, so close. And we see the new bow coming on the side of Bonanza. Yes, meanwhile, Blanksy are still running strong with the same comp.
Yeah, I can imagine a bow in a map like this would be very good defensive. 2 long open areas where this bow can excel, and especially with that jetpack, they can fly high and do some defensive work. 2 players down for Blanksy early on, as Bonanza is preparing their push forward, is preparing to get that checkpoint. Tactical is out on the field for Blanksy to help them defend a little bit. Crab Tank is out, Inkjet is out as well. Hammer is about to be used, but the Crab Tank, or with the Raven Carrier, is that Splatana has the Hammer. They just got it in front of the checkpoint, but not quite on as 2 players go down. But Bonanza making a very, very strong opening push here.
A strong opening, but that strong opening didn't get the checkpoint, allowed Blanksy to defend enough. Oh wait, there's still a Wiper around here, and that Wiper will refresh the Rainmaker shield, but not get the checkpoint again. Blanksy still breathing a little bit, waiting to for the reset of that Rainmaker, as they are fighting for mid. As I say that, they grab the Rainmaker, throw Booyah Bomb forward, and try to trace their way in.
You kind of bad for the Splatana, who's all on their own fighting, trying to survive. Somehow does manage to survive though, and they got rid of the Rainmaker Carrier too, meaning that shield is on a very decent pace for them to grab. Crab Tank out on the field, trying to paint as much as possible for their team to go in. Blanksy, however, is now ramping up their defense game a little bit. It's the Rapid Blaster versus that Inkjet. None of them gets a splat. But now that bow is down, now none of their defense is gone. Hammer goes in, it's a very good splat, looking for that second player, but misses 3 in a row. That is super important for the Splatana. But now Kraken is going to counter that Rainmaker pop from Blanksy. Bonanza doing everything in the middle of the map, trying to get rid of the enemy players. Blanksy was about to pick up the Rainmaker, but no. The bow got rid of them as well. This is probably why he's picked up the bow, but it's 2v3 here, Pat, and Bonanza is going to have to prepare for a good defense run.
Right now, we're still very close between these 2 teams. Bonanza have the numbers advantage, but Blanksy has control, a lot of control over mid. We're able to maintain presence so that the rest of the team could respawn. Now, Bonanza, all they need to do is grab that Rainmaker and go in. They have so much space for themselves. Ado, eyeing that checkpoint, is close to getting it. They know though that all it needs is one splat to stop them, and Ado is forced out, is running back into mid as the Kraken is trying to recreate the space for Bonanza.
Yeah, I think it was a good play for them to jump back with the Rainmaker, especially when it was a Crab Tank right on the horizon. Now the Hammer does go in, and this is the moment where they should push forward. Try to get the Rainmaker, the pedestal, they had it almost all, but no, again! Got splattered on the 69 mark. Nice for Blank Sea, but not nice for Bonanza. They finally got it onto that checkpoint, and Blank Sea still not having a chance of pushing out of their base. Bonanza is doing so much work to keep them in there, and now they have a checkpoint to boot, which is very good. That means if Blank Sea gets a checkpoint now, they'll be at 1 point behind Bonanza. So they have a little bit of wiggle room now, but they want to keep pushing it further and further. But with 3 players on the field against 4, they might have to wait a little bit.
I mean, we're still waiting for Blank Sea to really get momentum, to really get their way in. Every time they grab the Rainmaker, they lose it so fast. Bonanza has such control over this whole map, and Adel with the Crab Tanks is a good reason why. I mean, this map is flat, is perfect for this kind of playstyle. Really allow the team to take control. And it's Bonanza re-grabbing the Rainmaker. This time there is no checkpoint, so if they manage to score a few good points, they could score a lot, but they lose 3 players! Blank Sea finally able to get the splats they want, but Hammer is the last thing, but it's a wipeout, and I believe that was no tactical for them, so right now Blank Sea has the opportunity to get in, but it's their turn to not get the checkpoint. Hat?
Yeah, now it's going to be another side. Blank Sea is going to experience Bonanza was experiencing, not going to get a checkpoint. Very late in the game, 30 seconds left, and they're still at 69, and the checkpoint has not been captured. All Bonanza has to do is just keep it there or push it out. They did force it back a little bit, but a lot of players just went down for Blank Sea. That means Bonanza can get their hands on the Rainmaker and start pushing it away from their base. But that was a very, very close call there, Pat, as Bonanza is slowly getting it out. They still have to keep it out of their base. It's going to be difficult now with only a couple seconds left, and a lot of players from Blank Sea pushing. Big splat by the Kraken, looking for the next target. Booyah Bomb is on to that Rainmaker, but it's only the Rainmaker left, and with a wipe out to boot, 69 to 68, it is Bonanza who take game number 2.
I mean, we had Blank Sea really grab the victory in game number 1 in a close fashion, with Bonanza almost getting the comeback. In this game, it was very much Bonanza taking control of most of the game and really keeping that control, forcing Blank Sea to get that desperate push in the end. And yeah, I mean, we are now 1-1. We have these 2 teams able to show each other what they can do, how much they can do. Now we are going onto a map that was chosen by both teams. That's going to be Tower Control on a Hagglefish Market.
I think that's going to be a very, very good minimap. I'm still going to say it, and I believe it's still true. Hagglefish is honestly the Mako Mart from this game. But yeah, like you said in that last game, it was very much Bonanza who was in control. But remember, Blank Sea, they almost had it. They were not that far off. If they had the checkpoint, they might as well gotten further than Bonanza. So I still believe that these 2 teams are very close to each other. But like you said, Bonanza definitely had the upper hand there, as they maintained most of the map in that game. And I'm waiting to see, what I'm interested to see is what they're going to do here, because in a very, very good map where pushing is a lot easier than on these other 2 maps, I wonder how much this fight will become even closer, or potentially even more one-sided.
I mean, right now, Bonanza, they just set up some momentum for this game. They really took control of mid. They really established themselves on the center of the map, and Blank Sea was struggling to get back in. Going into Tower Control, it's a different dynamic. It's a different way for pushes to snowball, and we'll see how these 2 teams do. And it looks like Blank Sea is bringing a few good new weapons of their own to counter Bonanza.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that Splattershot Pro can do. When I first saw it and I first saw the kit, the only thing I could think is that if you close your eyes and look at the Splatoon 2 splatter shot with the missiles as well. So I'm hoping this does not turn into a weapon like that. We're going to have to see as Bonanza lose 2 players early on, forcing BlanKzee to go on the tower and just push it a little bit forward, push it a little bit more, getting on that first checkpoint. 2 players down now for BlanKzee, meaning Bonanza can go in, but I don't think they'll be on time as a lot of the checkpoint is already gone for BlanKzee. The tower will now be reset and not a full check has been taken, so that is good for Bonanza here, Pat, as now it's their turn to sit on the tower.
Yeah, they sit on the tower. They already have a few specials ready. Here comes the Tacticular. There's more to come. BlanKzee all in defensive position. They're ready to wait for the blunt of this attack as Bonanza is riding the tower, trying to create some space. And the Golder with the Kraken is being pushed away. All of BlanKzee is defending as much as they can. It looks like both teams are struggling to get past the checkpoint as they say that. Bonanza is still on there and is going to get it.
Yeah, I just saw the Tacticular being placed in a quite an awkward spot and looked like the Rapid Blast would have to throw it down further, but it got stuck on a wall, which is unfortunate for BlanKzee because that would have been helping them so much if they had the Tacticular below deck, but unfortunately that was not the case, allowing Bonanza to get on the tower and get past that checkpoint because none of the teams really pushing as much as they want to, whilst Bonanza had Tacticular on the field. 54-70, that first checkpoint has been broken for Bonanza. That would be huge news for them because it's always such a pain to get through that checkpoint, but they're still pushing it further, a couple points at the time. Just taking it slow here, Pat, as they need to because the Rubber Blast can cause massive trouble for the tower.
I mean, right now, Bonanza is on that second checkpoint solidly. They get past it very fast, and there's still 2 players down onto BlanKzee. Bonanza maintaining their momentum, forcing BlanKzee to defend desperately right there. And now BlanKzee is in a very rough spot. They won game number 1, but Bonanza has learned how to fight them, and is looking stronger and stronger every game.
Yeah, they're learning as they go and they're not wasting any time. They're not leaving any skill on the table. Anything they can get, they will. But now the tower is slowly being pushed back by BlanKzee. Bonanza is losing ground, slowly losing players as well. It's 2v4 and Bonanza is losing ground as BlanKzee is very much pushing as much as they can, turfing as much as they can, raising as much pressure as they can. Kraken is out on the field for BlanKzee, but it's 2v2. They're still in the tower and they finally broke past that first checkpoint and going towards the second wall. But now with everyone from Bonanza responding here, Pat, BlanKzee might have a more difficult time for this one.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, getting past a checkpoint is big, is good, is important. BlanKzee created themselves some momentum, showed that they can get a push, showed that they can get something out of this Bonanza. But Bonanza now with the answer, now absolutely taking back a lot of control over mid. And BlanKzee have a minute and a half to get back in the game still.
Yeah, I think this is where Bonanza will probably switch to defense mode and just see what BlanKzee will do. But I don't think a very big offensive push doesn't really need to happen anymore because they have a 20-point lead. They have a checkpoint lead as well, which might be more important. So now they should very focus onto the defense. Of course, pushing the tower forward a little bit will never hurt. It will take more time for Bonanza, for BlanKzee. I'm sorry, I keep switching these two up. For BlanKzee to get it back. It's 1 minute left. It's 3 players down for Bonanza. As I say that, defensive mode is not working out for them. It is BlanKzee on the tower here, Pat, using a lot of specials, trying to get more players down as they are preparing to push it past 40.
Yeah, BlanKzee able to re-establish their momentum. There's still a wiper. Oh no, there's no longer a wiper behind them, which means now they can look forward. All attack as one, and that's when BlanKzee is so strong. The Kraken to the side will allow them to get to that second checkpoint. There's not that much time on that second checkpoint, but Bonanza is in their Staralol with that wiper able to help, and that's a wipe out with 10 seconds left in the game. It looks like Bonanza is going to get game number 3 and a match point.
Yeah, I don't think with that wipeout they're going to reach the tower anymore. As you say it, another win for Bonanza. And the second win where they're gonna wipe out right at the end. Not as much the end as the last game, but I think this one is even better for the timing because it secured the game 20 seconds remaining. So Bonanza is definitely learning and definitely playing better, and a cheeky little fist bump at the end to secure the win. It's 2-1, and now they are in the match point status. But this game, again, very dominant by Bonanza. They had the majority of the game, were in control of the tower. Majority of the game, they were in control of the map. And it felt like Blanksea, well, they had their moments. It was not really much they could do. I felt like every time they tried something, it was either an NZAP or a Splatana just behind them and instantly getting rid of whoever was leading a push.
Yeah, we saw Blanksea struggle to keep themselves on the map, to win the fights as they were trying to push forward to get some control over the map. Bonanza moving faster, being more aggro, being in more fights that really paid off for them. And now we're going to Clan Blitz, a mode that really enables these teams that have map control. And we're going back to a map that we've seen on Clan Blitz earlier in this tournament back in the group stage. That's going to be Museum d'Alfonsino.
Yeah, Museum d'Alfonsino. I was looking at my casting back for when I did the Dutch Championship, and it's one of the things I said there, which is something I wanted to share here, as this is a very much a Splatoon 1 map in the sense that it is very big. Because if you look at all the maps, Splatoon 2 maps are very weirdly shaped. Splatoon 3 maps are very small and very linear. And Splatoon 1 maps were massive and all over the place. And I think for a game mode like Clan Blitz, such a giant map is perfect because there's a lot of moving about, there's a lot of wiggle room and a lot of playroom to get that power clam wherever you need it to go. So I'm hoping to see a very, very intense match. Both of the teams are readying up and we are about to start our match point scenario. Blanksea has to put everything now if they want to stay in this tournament, because they have to kind of reverse sweep 2 games in a row to get that victory. And Bonanza, of course, in match point status, only needs to win this one.
Yeah, and they're bringing the new Splatterscope to the mix to really take control of the terrain right now. Blanksea going in for the fight, but losing that fight. 2 players down means Bonanza is going to get a lot of control. They get all of mid, they get a lot of clams, and now it's on Blanksea to defend once again.
Yeah, Blanksea is just a team which is forced to defend in the opening if they don't get an instant opening push here, and it shows here. Again, they had it in Rainmaker, they had it in Splat Zones, and now they're gonna have it here in Clan Blitz. However, it looks like they got the power clan a little bit earlier, as Bonanza is just if Blanksea is just losing a couple players. So let's see if they are going to counter them with their own power clan. Yes, they will. But now Blanksea have to make sure they get them in, and with all the ingots on the map for Bonanza, it might be a little difficult.
Blanksea, they have clams, but they need to take control of the ground right now. Both teams waiting for an opportunity, and the Wiper is going in, trying to challenge the pencil, but gets punished as the rest of Bonanza is trying to push in. There's too many players down, and it looks like Blanksea are going to take a bit more control this time now. Can they use this control to get in? Sorrow with the Julies right there, the Julie Squelchers? Yes, have a lot of ground.
Yeah, both teams are preparing and mainly just looking at ways they can get into the enemy base, because they're both having a power clam or are at the ready of making a power clam, but none of them are really moving about. There's just no wiggle room given for both of these teams. There's a very firm grasp on the field, and of course, very good for Bonanza as they want to play it safe and just want to secure that win. But win. With Blanksea, this might want to take a little bit more risk, because, well, if they're going to lose this game, they might as well lose it while trying their best. But if they take some more risk, the rewards could be big and the KOs could be coming in fast. Very close power clam by the basket for Blanksea as Bonanza gets the opening push with 3 players down, unfortunately, meaning they can't really get a follow-up in, especially with someone from Blanksea in the base of Bonanza going to splat with that Reef Slider as well. But I don't think a jumping will happen, as everyone else there is wiped. 80 score for Bonanza, 20 points scored. But now Blanksy has 2 power clams, so they can make a very, very strong counter push.
I mean, we're halfway past the game, and only a single push happened. Bonanza attacking again. Adil has that super clam, is going to reopen the basket and extend the lead as Blanksy are trying to get back control now. The crab tank is pushed out. Blanksy are setting themselves up. Wait, what is happening? Bonanza. Oh, that's
It's Bonanza's pushing. It's Bonanza's pushing.
Oh yeah, but Blanksy was coming from the wrong side, and they didn't let. Okay, so Bonanza extended their lead a whole lot.
Yeah, 52 with a second lead is pretty big, and they're still pushing it further and further. They're waiting for more moments where they can go in. It's 2 players down again for Blanksy. It's just nothing they can do. They have a power clam, but they're going back to their base as Blanksy. Sorry, as Bonanza is preparing another power clam. They have 8 clams at the ready, so a power clam can be made if they want to. And the second they do, it might as well just be pushed in instantly. Now Blanksy is taking up the defense a whole lot more. Getting 2 players down on the side of Bonanza with a power clam ready. And a screen feller on the map. On the screen, I forget the name. This might be their first pusher.
Yeah. They get the push, they open the basket, and thanks to the screen, they have a good edge in this fight now. They only need a few more clams as Bonanza are getting back control over their basket. The super clam lying out the ground next to the basket is not gonna get the lead for Blanksy, but Blanksy, once again, they showed that they can do it. Now they only need to do a little bit better if they want to get the lead.
Yeah, they definitely can, like you said, but they only have 35 seconds left, so that might be difficult, especially when that basket is being opened by the opposing team again. Not extending their lead, only removing the penalty, but still very annoying. And Copper Clam coming in with a power clam on the way. Does not make it into the base, but a second power clam is making its way towards that basket, but Adil says, no, I'll wait, I'll just play it passively. We have the lead and they can take a power clam to the basket without losing it. So I think with a couple seconds left in this game, playing it safe is definitely the smart play. You might want to just get rid of the power clam, buddy, because now you're just revealing yourself on the map. And as Splattershot, as an NZEP, I don't think that's what you want to do. But Bonanza is doing everything they can to defense. Overtime is about half over. Restarter coming into the base. This might be big for Blanksy if they can get a jump in. The power clam is on its way. It jumped in. The basket has been opened. But a second too late. You still see it spinning onto that basket. And that means Bonanza takes this game 3 in a row to get themselves into the next match. Unfortunately, after a hard-fought battle, we have to say goodbye to Blanksy. And again, another little fist bump at the end.
Yeah, very nice play right there by Bonanza. They qualify to our semi-finals. And I mean, Blanksy, they were right behind them. Blanksy were close, but every time getting one less clam in the basket, getting one less push, getting one less player, a bit less paint on the ground. We're reaching this point of the tournament, this level of teams where you need to optimize, you need to do it better. Getting a push is not enough. You need to get a better push than that.
Yeah, I agree with them. I liked Blanksy in the first game, but they kind of stagnated with whatever they were trying in that first game. Was Bonanza learned from that game and definitely applied some different strategies in order to counter the weapons that Blanksy was running. So I think Bonanza definitely deserved that win there. But I don't think Blanksy did it all too bad. They still had a very, very good run. The first 2 games were very, very close to each other. But now we're going to prepare for the semi-finals.
Yes, we'll see Blanksy again in future tournaments. But now we're going to take a small break as we prepare semi-finals. I believe our teams are almost ready. I mean, it's not completely over. It's going to be Tamaris going against either Frutella or Buff S-Blast, but I guess they didn't buff S-Blast enough because Frutella is up 2-0.
And welcome back to Battling Pool. My name is Hat, and I'm still joined by Pat as we are preparing for the semi-finals of this tournament. Frutella versus Tamaris, and we're gonna start it off on the skyscrapers with the Rainmaker. Now, Pat, you host almost every single Battling Pool, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about these two teams, or some of the players, if you know them?
I mean, Frutella is a team name that has been at the top of so many double productions tournaments, but I mean, they barely need introduction. Right now, Devin joined them recently. I don't know if it's as a regular sub or as a full member, but they've gotten better and better. They're still very back. Tamaris, on the other hand, I believe they're all French, or at least French-speaking, and they're very much one of these teams that are on the rise, are grinding, and are wanting to make their name. So we'll see which of experience or new blood is going to be the most active. And pay attention to the two snipers on each team, especially on this map. Back is incredible with whatever charger. And oh well, it looks like Frutella is not bringing a charger this time, so I spoke too
And
soon.
it looks like one of the teams is also not bringing a player, as we already had a very early disconnect. Maybe they saw the charger, like, wait. Or the lack of charger and said, wait a minute. Hold up. Give me a little break. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see that charger at work. But I'm also seeing that some of the chargers are now swapping to that real Rapid Blaster. And I can also see why. It has a long-range weapon with the Tactical Cooler. That's exactly what you want as a Splatoon team. And it definitely gives more mobility than a charger ever could. So I'm liking that swap to the Rapid Blaster.
Yeah, the Rapid Blaster very much a useful weapon, especially on this map with the grades. If you're able to catch someone in your blast and they're walking on the grades, they cannot run away. They're very much sitting ducks. Right now, let's see. I see 4 people on each side, so I guess we're going to have a game of Rainmaker.
Yeah, you know, Splatoon, you know, even after, I don't know, a decade of playing this game, the amount of disconnects, it's just a feature in the game. It's not a bug, you get used to it. But yeah, like you said, I'm very interested to see the Rapid Blaster fighting on the grades here, because the Charger definitely wants to be on top of that. Whenever the Rainmaker is pushing forward with the Rapid Blaster, it's going to be a very, very difficult 2 players down early for Tamaris, as Frutella is slowly making the way, painting the middle, but it's still as much as a stalemate on this game here, Pat, as neither team can really get a grasp on the map.
Yeah, by the way, I believe all team colors are inverted. Tamaris is in pink right now, fighting for their life. Very nice moves by Alwo, getting all the splats. Incredible moment, and Tamaris in pink are getting more and more, but are not able to bring the Rainmaker forward yet.
Yeah, 3 players down, but luckily for Tamaris, they had the Tactical on, allowing them to instantly respawn. The Tactical could not have better timing. Because of that, they were not able to push in Frutella, and now they're still preparing to get yet another push. They're still preparing to get another fight into the middle and get that zone completely pink. 2 players down on Zelda Tamaris. This is what Frutella was looking for. They're gonna pop the Rainmaker with no Tactical on the map for Tamaris. That lead will be claimed by them, but can they keep it? Can they get that checkpoint is the bigger question. With a Zuka on the map is yes, they can.
Ooh, huge moves right there. And hits Tamaris, extending their lead back and getting to the K. Oh, they're so close to it. Frutella in a rough spot right now.
I thought for sure that was gonna KO, but the legendary one. Well, we all know how this match is gonna end here, Pat. Either Frutella has to KO or Tamaris just wins. There's no alternative option right now. It's either 100 or 0, and for Frutella, and it's the least moment you want to be in, especially when there's 2.5 minutes left for Tamaris to push and start bullying you. However, 3 players down is what Frutella does want to see, because now they can make sure their push at least gets started, and they can at least claim big part of the map. Or Trizuka on the map at already waiting to get the Rainmaker to a checkpoint so they can pay the checkpoint and safely secure it. But now it is phase 2, Pet, and they have to get it towards the pedestal at the end.
They got the checkpoint, now comes the hard part. They got the repop as well, and they're still with numbers advantage. It's only Baki with a pencil for Tamaris right now. Frutella has a shot at moving forward, but Baki cannot miss with that pencil. Is going to punish, delay things, and allow everybody from Tamaris to get back in defensive positions.
Ain't no way that guy did hit that shot. Ain't no way that I saw that with my eyes. You were not lying when you said they were looking. Look out for that sniper. You were for real. Very good Trizuka shot. Very good pencil shots here. Getting in the seconds with the Trizuka. No, they cannot connect. But forcing the sniper back might be already enough for Frutella to maintain the map control and maintain momentum, because that's primarily what they're focusing on, is keeping that Rainmaker pushing, keeping the struggle alive for Tamaris. That is a pushing team. 2 players down instead of Tamaris, only 1 player down for Frutella. There's a very good moment to push the Rainmaker. The Wiper tries to flank, does not get it, and the Rainmaker is pushing closer and closer, but no, a Blaster had to say something against their pet, but Frutella is not done.
I mean, they're still in here, never count Frutella out, but they only have 2 players left. The Rainmaker is on its cue to reset. Crowny dancing around, trying to go away. Rainmaker is back into mid. Tamaris gets to breathe a little bit in this last minute of the game.
Yeah, it is now everything for Frutella. They have to give their 100. 2 players are down, meaning a defensive maneuver is the only option for Tamaris. Frutella is still onto the offense, dominating the map currently, dominating the game currently, but somehow not in the lead. They're getting closer. They're going to put the paint on pedestal. It is only Splashlet against the Rainmaker, but the Splashlet falls down. This is the moment where Frutella's been looking for. No, a slosher or something had to say no, but the Rainmaker puts it 2-1, but Frutella is still in the game here, but Frutella is still pushing and jumping back into the map.
It is so close between these 2 teams. The Tamaris are getting the Rainmaker at least a little bit away from their Alwo, sharking to the side, wanting to create the surprise. They know all they need is 1 splat, and the Hammer is going to do exactly that. Game 1 for Tamaris.
Statistically, you cannot get a closer Splatoon score than this. 99-98 here, Pat. These 2 teams were fighting on the absolute limit in terms of scores here. It was a very strong game for Tamaris, or for, I think the colors are reversed here, for Frutella, but no, they could not win. They could not find the last point that they needed to get it onto the pedestal. They were as close, literally as close as Tamaris, but not close enough. Very, very hard fought battle. And interesting how Tamaris only had 1 push.
Yeah. I mean, Tamaris got the first push. They destroyed Frutella, and then Frutella played catch up. It's been very much like Tamaris got the win, and deservedly so, but Frutella in there were able to really get the comeback, to get better. And now, Hat, it's going to be my first time casting this map.
Same here. It's my first time casting in a little while, and we're going to start it off right on my home. I believe you haven't played Splatoon 1, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, but for me, this Urchin Underpass, these are the streets I grew up in. Man, I was like 15 when this game came out. And honestly, I still remember this map as good as ever. I haven't played it yet because the first day when it was out, I was unable to play it, unfortunately. But man, honestly, Urchin Underpass, I am so happy they finally brought this map into Splatoon 3.
Well, I'm glad we get an extra map, a new way to play, and it's a very fun map with a lot to it. I'm still very much learning it, so you'll have to be the one guiding me through what's happening, Hat, because I mean it's a complex map with a lot of different things that can happen on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much that changed. I haven't seen a lot of it from Splatoon 3 gameplay. But looking at it now, because this is like the first time I'm getting a very good look at it.
Yeah.
As from a gameplay perspective, it looks very, very similar. I think I have to see the map. Yeah, this is like almost exactly as I remember the streets I grew up in. Even the little open bridge in the middle. I am thankful right now, even understanding it. But this is exactly how I like to remember Urchin Underpass. And this deepened zone here is always an interesting part for me. I talked about it in earlier games as well. The fact that the zone is now down below makes it super hard to defend from the zone itself. You really have to make sure you're defending from the other places. It makes playing this thing incredibly easy with even a sprinkler or just an arrow spray. And Frutella is painting it up, pushing in very, very deep, getting a very early lead here. And pushing in very much into the spawn of Tamaris. It's going to be a bit of a troublemaker for Tamaris because that spawn, because it's a Splatoon 1 map, it's big, that spawn is very far away.
Yeah, and right now, Frutella are holding control over the map as we say that. Tamaris was able to sneak their wiper behind everybody to paint it and to get back some point, apply penalty. Now Frutella are back thrown back into a defense mode, and they need to prepare a push as a Bouillabon is going to chase them away. Very nice answer by Tamaris, who looked in difficulty at the start of his game, but are right now coming back very, very strong. 3 down on Frutella, Hat.
Yeah, Frutella is not really making the same move they were last game, because now you can't defend from your spawn. You have to actually push in, which as we saw the last game, they are struggling with because they only had one whole push. That lead is about to be swapped by Tamaris. By Tamaris. I thought Frutella. Yeah, sorry, by Tamaris. And now Frutella, they have to paint it up and keep it in their color, but Tamaris now finally getting pushed back a little bit. Get a fat 59 penalty.
Yeah, well, that penalty is reversed. Tamaris are back on top of the zone again. Crowny is pushed away as all of Frutella is regrouping, preparing their next push. Tamaris keeping their control with past the 2 minutes into the game. And Frutella activating the Kraken, but the Kraken is alone. You can't paint with the Kraken. You can't punish the super jumps in, though.
Yeah, I feel like posing a super jump is much better way of painting with the Kraken than just swimming around. They're trying to paint with the Kraken. It is 2 players down for Frutella. It's only 1 player down for Tamaris. But Frutella somehow still captures that zone because of that slusher. Everyone now from Tamaris is respawning because they all just went down. It's just a blaster alive, but they can paint as well as a junior. Now can they? Now it's 3 players up for Tamaris. Frutella has a full team on the map, has Tacticooler as well, and is currently in control of the zone, but not really much else at the middle of the map. It is very much Tamaris' game to start pushing in, and pushing in they will. Got rid of the Spanish Pro, got rid of the Spanish Shot regular. Now looking for the Rapid Blaster, who has a Tacticooler on the map to secure those respawns and to save those specials from Frutella.
And right now, Frutella are trying to repaint the map, but there's still people from Tamaris to counter, to be around here. There's an intense fight right there, back able to get away with that pencil, regroup with the rest of the team, and put themselves back in position. Frutella are in control, don't have that much penalty left. This could be a real comeback from Frutella, who are not far from getting rid of their penalty.
Yeah, Frutella are very much close to breaking that penalty and start pushing points again. However, Tamaris might have to say something about it, because they're very much spinning it up in the middle, getting rid of the slusher. Huge spinning potential gone, getting rid of the Rapid Blaster, huge defense capabilities gone. The Tacticooler was out, so respawns were fast, but it was not fast enough for Frutella to get rid of the penalty fully, and it has been reset to 29. Hammer onto the map, Kraken onto the map, everything is out. The Kraken is chasing down the Hammer, but is unable to catch up, and Crowny forced away with that Spanish Shot. Unfortunately, such a waste of the Kraken. And Tamaris saving themselves from a lead swap and saving themselves from a more scoring points from Frutella, as they are now preparing a very good defense here.
Yeah, I mean, Frutella, they need to push right now. They don't have much time left in this game, especially now that Tamaris is done with their penalty, is holding just a few more seconds, 10 more ticks, but there's 2 Tamaris players down, and now Frutella can paint, apply penalty, 20 seconds left in this game, and all Frutella needs... Oh, wait! It's a game! Tamaris gets game number 2, that's it, there's no coming back from that.
That game, it takes like 14 seconds to get from spawn towards the zone. I like how they got wiped in the middle of your sentence. All that Frutella needs, because that was definitely the last thing that Frutella needed, was a wipe out at the end. And look how much unpainted map there is onto the spawn of Frutella, as well as Tamari. But it is Tamari who takes game number 2. Getting themselves a very strong match point scenario.
I mean, it's been what? Frutella has been the final boss of so many battling pools. They've come to so many tournaments simply to win them and not let any other team take a game off of them unless they have too much fun and lose and bring a stupid comp. But like, Frutella has been that kind of team that absolutely dominates, and right there, Tamaris are showing us what they're made of, are putting their name out there. And I mean, I knew Tamaris was good. They've been great players. They're playing better every week, and I love it.
Yeah, it's can I just imagine Frutella just like the new Mango Hack Mac is? I don't see them in the bracket now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I was thinking like the way you explained it, that's just the new Mango Hack Mac. Also, quick side note, Hyperstars, thank you for the 10 people raid. Whoever is sticking around, this is Fettingpool, your favorite weekly one-stop spot for your Splatoon tournament content. Every game mode, every map, and a whole host of teams. We're currently in the semi-finals, and it is 2-3 scenario for Tamari, who is looking to get a third game here on tower control. Frutella now having to reverse sweep, and like you said, they're always on top. They're always winning, or at least getting second place on Depot production tournaments. What do you imagine they're gonna feel like right now, knowing they are 2-0 in not even the finals, it's just the semi-finals?
I mean, this is where the experience plays a huge role. Frutella have been here before over and over. To them, there's no pressure, there's no stress in being in semi-finals. They've been down before, they've been there. I think where they can show their strength in is their ability to learn, their ability to get better, and to not fall to the pressure. And right now, they're bringing that E-liter to really get some control with Crowny on the Zap this time to establish, to put the tactical down.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier that they have a very strong charger, but we only saw the Rapid Blaster from them, so I am hoping you hype me up good, because you said Becca was a good charger and they made some shots where I would be like, no, that's not possible, man. But now let's see if Hansenwurst is going to get such beautiful splats here as well. With that longer range E-liter, it looks like Frutella had a couple points onto the tower, but only 3, so we don't really count that one out. It is just touching the first checkpoint, and it's now Tamari who's on that tower, looking to break through that first checkpoint. However, with their Viper gone, and with their Spectromatic gone as well, and their Blaster gone as well, 3 players down in a row, I don't think much pushing will commence here until the respawn.
Ooh, right now, Tamaris are in a rough spot. It looks like Frutella's change of comp is working for them on this tower control game. Frutella are moving on to the second checkpoint now with their E-liter still on there, absolutely dominating. Ooh!
Yeah, it was a bit of a dominant game, but 2 players down now. It's just an Eden and it ends up alive. 52 just respawns, and so is the Slusher. But I don't think it's going to be enough to really maintain this push to the towers. Almost in the middle of the map. Hansenwurst use their E-liter, use it to get some splats, or he's trying to get some splats into the base of Tamaris. Did get 1 splat as well as a second assist for their teammates. So that means Frutella can still push in, but they have to maintain this now. And I see Tamaris really stepping up their game here in terms of defense.
Yeah, I mean, Frutella are not letting it go. They're holding that tower on the same size. They're maintaining always a few players down onto Tamaris. But Tamaris, I mean, they're up to 2-0 for a reason. They're still in that fight, activating the hammer right there, trying to create some control. And that snipe on the Zap with the hammer will allow them to create some more momentum advantage. As they are back on the tower, but not able to get the checkpoint.
Yeah, they're looking for an opening. They're looking for a way to get more than 1 player down at a time, so they can start pushing in. But it looks like Frutella now is really not giving in at all. They were playing a bit more casual the first couple games, now they're playing hyper competitive. Very good splash shot by that Kraken, but now it's an E-liter in your base. What are you going to do? 3 players down, you're stuck there as a little worm against a monster. And it is now Tamaris who's finally gained some ground and finally gained some momentum on the tower pad, as they just broke to the first checkpoint and are speeding to the second one.
Yeah, and I mean, Frutella had control of the map for so long, but they didn't score that many points. Right now, we're just 5 points away between these 2 teams, but Tamaris lost a few too many players. Frutella is back in control of the map. putting themselves so far in. I guess they'll be back on the tower and scoring a lot of points this time.
Yeah, this is where they want to make it big because they, like you said, only scored a couple points. 65 is not a whole lot, but they're breaking towards that second checkpoint, and there's nothing Tamaris can do seemingly. The second checkpoint is broke with an Eater on the tower, so you don't really want to peek, and then it's already a pencil and an Eater fighting for the tower spot right now. But the Kraken is gonna defend it, but the Kraken said, no, it's a surprise! I'm gonna push in. Gets one, looking for the second player, cannot quite connect the Kraken. Luckily at the end they can, and 3 players down. There's only a blaster up on the side of Tamaris. With that third checkpoint broken for Frutella, there was nothing Tamaris could do here, and Frutella losing 2 games by not being dominant enough to absolutely pub stomping the third game. I mean, just look at that map. It is completely covered in pink.
Frutella really took control of this map. They really set themselves up for victory, pushed when they needed to, forced Tamaris to fight where they didn't want to. And Tamaris struggled to really control the pace of the game. I mean, this is an unusual map. This is a map that people don't want to play, don't want to practice. I guess Tamaris will have to do some work if they want to win on this map again.
Yeah, I don't think they can just chill like this, and they should not take an L like this because, wow, I honestly just gonna say wow. Frutella really stepped up their game, especially their speed. They look so much more agile and faster than they were looking in the first games. Maybe they were having too much fun, like you said, and now they're actually playing serious. I don't know. But what I do know is it will be Clamblitz on Ink Blood Art Academy. And that is going to be interesting because it's a very enclosed map for Clamblitz, so a lot of stuff will happen in the middle. And I feel like Tamaris might actually hold the edge here on a mode like this, because Tower Control is very much a set path, but Clamblitz is another game which is a bit more loose, and you have a bit more freedom of movement. So let's see if they're going to perform here like they performed the first 2 games, or if Frutella will get that game 5 going in and going to try for the reverse sweep.
Yeah, Clamblitz really tests map control and team coordination. It's a great mode to see what these teams can do, and this new Frutella that has now an E-liter in their comp it should be able to probably get something else, especially on this map with its wide open space in the middle. Having a good charger to look over that could decide a lot, but again, both teams have a good charger. We'll see how it goes. Still match point for Tamaris going into this 4th game.
I remember when Clamblitz originally came out, everyone was sort of disliking this game a little bit because it was new, it was confusing, but now everyone is thinking this is like the best team game ever because you have to play so well and so coordinated together, allowing you to get some crazy pushes in, but also really getting yourself ruined if you don't have team coordination. So let's see if these teams have the required coordination for Clamblitz, like you said here, Pat. Very early on in this game, it's already neck on neck. It's already very 50-50, and neither team is really making an early statement push here, which is very good to see.
Yeah, right now we have both teams kinda able to get some ground, forced out. We're still very much in neutral with everybody trying to get some control. Bakke is going to move back and make a super clam for their team. Tamaris right now with the Clam's advantage, but still not able to go through the E-liter's gaze.
Yeah, Bakke is trying to look at an opening or trying to look at an angle where they can get rid of the E-liter, but Hanswoers with that E-liter really not allowing it in. And now Kraken on the middle of the map. Crowny also looking to follow down the Kraken. Gets some Splatzer as well. Fighting for the life. Gets luckily, and 2 players are now down for the side of Fort Tamaris, meaning that Frutella has a very good opening push here. But there's no power clam at the time of pushing, meaning they could not find the opening they were looking for. Tri-Strikes are now coming out. Also, the speakers are coming out. Credible 5.1, but no, it's still not enough. As Tamaris is playing very firm defense with 3 players down. Only a power clam at the back. Can they push it in? No, they can't. A delayed wipe says no here, Pat, but I don't think Tamaris is fast enough to fight against the respawns.
But Frutella was tactical out there, coming back very, very fast. And look at that, Tamaris are still fighting to paint from their platform as both frontliners for Frutella are going back on the attack, making another super clam. And just like that, they break the basket. Crowny has a lot right there, but gets splatted. That could be the end of that push. The Eliter is back. It's trying to go in, could go a few more clams. Wait! How is Frutella able to get splats like that?
Yeah, I don't know what magic they are pulling. They are definitely pulling some black magic here in this game of Clamblitz. The basket is now close with the first push. 56 is nothing to scoff at, especially because it's the only push where you have a full fat early 20 points without a penalty looming on your head. And now it is Tamaris' turn to get some clams in and get some map control. But looking at that map, 0 clams in their hands.
Yeah, and right now Frutella are playing off of their leader, playing off of their control over the map, and able to really keep Tamaris at bay. Tamaris know that they need a big push, but they just lost 2 players. That's going to cost them as they are forced out. Becky is still hanging for dear life as Frutella is attacking further and further, pushing thanks to that grab tank.
Yeah, another power clam went in. A second one is on its way, but defending a sniper just behind you as a sniper. Must be very confusing. A second power clam is on its way to the basket, and it has connected. 38 is the current score to beat for Tamaris, as Frutella is still slowly but surely getting some clams in there. Third power clam on its way, but just too late. It is below the basket. If they can pick it up, they will have a free score, but I don't think it will be live at the time that someone from Frutella actually reaches it. But Tamaris still not having a single point score, but about a minute left here, Pat. They're going to have to speed it up a little bit.
Oh, it's rough and rougher for Tamaris right now. 3 players down, it's a wipeout. Frutella are going faster and stronger every single second of that game, and they're gonna have another super clam. This could be a KO right there. All they need is 6 more clams.
Yeah, they're gonna throw it in, make it 3 more clams until KO. They just have to dive it in, but it's only an Eliter alive, so that might be a little bit of a tough dive there. But 9 points remaining on their side. 24, 5 clams and a power clam, and it is game over for Tamaris, who are at the base of Frutella. They are pushing, but they're forced out. Nobody was there to pick up the power clam. They have to make some movement. They have to make it fast. But they essentially just have to KO it. Pat Hammer goes in. Doesn't really connect a splat. They have a crab tag at the ready, but that's also the person who's holding onto the power clam. Buoy bomb at the ready. Crab tag at the ready. 2 players were just down. Kraken pushing out. Can they get the power clam? Yes, they can. There's nobody to push it in. They scored. They procced overtime to be even longer, only until the basket closes. But can they get enough clams with only a special medic remaining at their base? The answer is no. No. The answer is an unfortunate no. They were just on that basket, but just too late, as it is now a 2-2 scenario, coming back from 0 games to an almost reverse sweep. Like you said, Frutella is going stronger and stronger by the minute.
I mean, we started with Tamaris getting 2 great games, showing dominance, showing speed, and right now Frutella answered and are outpacing completely Tamaris, winning the fights, winning the pushes, and it's 2-2. 1 game is all each of these teams need. 1 game that will decide which team goes home and which team goes to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the current state, it might just be Frutella. I mean, they are strong. They're as strong as ever.
Yeah.
But Tamaris still has a chance. They won the first Rainmaker game with a single push. So they can do it again.
It's
going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. But I think they can do it. However, Frutella is now absolutely on fire by forcing a reverse sweep game 5, so they might as well just win it because they're in such a good mood right now. So it's just a very 50-50 scenario for both teams.
I mean, as you said, like Frutella are riding that momentum from the previous game. They're getting faster, they're confident, and now it's Tamaris. It's on them to feel the pressure and to handle it going into this tiebreaker. It's Rainmaker. One push is all you need. And now, I mean, the teams are bringing back the comps that have been working for them.
Yes, let's see what we're gonna get in this 2v2 scenario. Like you said, semifinals. Frutella versus Tamaris. Will it be Frutella who takes the crown and goes to the finals, setting their scores, one of the most dominant teams in Pelling Pool? Or will it be Tamaris fighting against the giant? It is David versus Goliath. And let's see if the Goliath can win or if David can fight their way to victory. First checkpoint early on by Frutella here, Pet, as they are doing a very strong opening push.
And right now, Frutella, they got the checkpoint. They got the opening control right there. And Tamaris able to answer, able to push the Rainmaker away. It's only the Elita to defend. They activate the Kraken, which means they are not going to score the checkpoint yet.
Yeah, they had a checkpoint early on Frutella, but I don't think they got much more after the checkpoint. And now 2 players down. Tamaris is looking to get more after that checkpoint because that's what they excel at. They have 3 players down. Frutella now, that checkpoint is completely free. So will be the pop after. It means they are guaranteed to get the lead here. But can they get it further? Can they get it back to 1 or even on the pedestal? They're looking very strong. And there's almost nobody defending it at 22. This is what Tamaris was looking for. It's only a Blaster alive right now. But nobody sees him. They're hidden. They're waiting. They're getting it to Rainmaker in time. It looks like they can. And it is huge for the team. Everyone is slowly jumping in with a Blaster. Still alive. Getting a second splat. But it is 3 players down for Tamaris. Meaning that push is dead. And will be reset towards the center. But a very good lead there from Tamaris. This is what I've been looking for the past 2 games.
I mean, this is Tamaris in Rainmaker able to get the lead, able to put themselves, but 22 is very much beatable, especially since Frutella are already back on the attack, back on that street with the Rainmaker pushing their way forward as all of Tamaris is on defense. They lose 1 player and the lead is taken by a single point hat.
That's unbelievable. It's going to be 21, 22, 20. Is this how this game is going to go? Everyone from Frutella is now out of the base from Frutella. Meaning Tamaris now has a very decent free push towards the center. But can they get it further than that? It's a 2v2 scenario with the sniper down from Tamaris and not the sniper down for Frutella. Meaning Frutella has a very good defensive advantage here. Hammer goes in. Gets rid of their ends up looking for that charger. They know where they are. They just cannot reach them. The Blaster in the middle here. Pet trying to get again. Pet again. 52 doesn't get the 74.
I mean, we are so evenly matched, but as I say that, it's a wipeout for Frutella, who already have the lead. 2 minutes left in this game, and Tamaris need something big to come back in this game. Frutella maintaining the pressure going in. As the wiper from Tamaris is punished in the hammer. No hammer for you. Frutella is going to push forward 2 down on Tamaris. That could be a lead extension.
Yeah, that will be extended here to 15. Not a whole lot of extension, but still an extension nonetheless. And it's now 8 points that Tamaris have to score in order to get that lead back. They're pushing a little bit back from the pedestal to go towards the midpoint, but they lost the Rainmaker in a very awkward spot. Now is the Blaster going into the middle, but gets absolutely shredded by that NZEP from Crowny, and they're just defending so hard. But they're not letting go of the grasp they have in this game. They are dominating this map, and they are dominating the map, and it is showing where Tamaris stands in comparison to Frutella.
And right now, we see both teams fighting around. The Rainmaker is re-grabbed by Tamaris. They know they don't need that much. They know they can get that push going. All they need is to maintain pressure, get a few extra splat, and that's exactly what they're doing. But the Kraken is going to stop them in their tracks. 40 seconds left in this game, Hat. 40 seconds left in this set, and Frutella has the numbers advantage and the Rainmaker.
Yeah, they're definitely playing it a little bit safe now. They're gonna prepare in order to win. They're gonna prepare in order to just dominate, putting a Rainmaker, trying to put it in an awkward spot, but not in the spot that they hoped it. Going to a place that was still further away than Tamaris would like to push. 3 players down, a wipeout on the side of Frutella. This is what Tamaris wanted. This is what they were looking for. But can they use it? No, they cannot. It is a lost cause almost. They had to use Amber to pop the Rainmaker shield quickly. But crowding up behind, Almo on the Rainmaker. Surrounded by a 52 from Prime. The Rainmaker is sandwiched, and even with 3 players down on the side of Frutella. It is Frutella dominating their way to the finals from 0 to a reverse sweep. And from a dominating show here, 2-3, Frutella takes game 5.
Yeah, a reverse sweep for Frutella, who were down 2-0, coming back in strength. And I mean, we don't see reverse sweep very often, but a team like Frutella that can withstand the pressure, that can adapt, change their comp, is the kind of team that's able to do it. And right now, they just punch their ticket to the final of this tournament.
Yeah, Frutella definitely should. I mean, you said that they were like dominating Cutting Pool, and I was a bit skeptical after the fact that they just went 2-0 in the beginning, or the fact that Tamaris went 2 in the beginning of the game. But now they literally started to play serious, and holy snap! Holy snap! That was some amazing gameplay shown here, but also the way that this played together. They were sandwiching players a lot from Tamaris, and I feel like Tamaris just didn't have an answer to that. We talked about it last game, where you have to adapt and evolve to get stronger and stronger, and always fight against your opponent, always learn new strategies as you go. But it felt like Tamaris, after game 2, was just stuck.
Yeah. Well, we have one final set to watch between our top 2 teams of this whole tournament. It's going to be our seed number 2 Frutella against our seed number 1 Vanguard. We'll take a break, and we're already preparing the lobby. We will be right back. welcome back to the final of this Battling Pool 324. And we have, of course, two teams that don't need much introduction. On the one hand, Frutella, that we just saw, a team that has been grinding weeklies, getting so much. On the other hand, Vanguard, arguably the best team in Europe. I think we can say it without much hesitation. Like, they're the best team in Europe, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it because I've been out of the loop a little bit, but the best in Europe is one of the most dominating teams right here in Battling Pool in Double Productions. We're going to see and they're gonna fight their way to victory. Both teams are hungry for that win, especially now with new tournaments and new weapons, new maps, and a nice little balancing update. This will be more interesting. 3 new weapons on the side of Frutella and only 0 new weapons, I believe, versus 1 slusher on the side of Vanguard. Actually, no, it's the other way around.
Yeah, right now Frutella fighting for that control, for the clans that we might have here on Umami Ruins. And we're seeing both teams trying to get some control. And I just noticed that, yeah, it's Vanguard as well playing without a charger, despite having a great charger player usually. Oh wait, is Jay is not here, that's why. Okay, their charger player is not here, so they're playing without one. That
makes a bit more sense, but I think that Rapid Pro definitely replace the charger. Like I said earlier, it has that nice little tactical. You know what else is nice from Vanguard? A wipe out for Frutella, as Vanguard is making sure they're pushing their points slowly to extend the timer onto the Clambless basket. And they're pushing it to 23 here, Pat. It's almost 1 power clam and it is over. Very strong push here from Vanguard and still more clams on the way. 3 players down again for Frutella, as Vanguard is using absolute dominance mode right here. And with a single push, it's just gone. It's just gone.
I mean, I just told you they're the best team in Europe.
You were not.
You were cracked.
I will never doubt you again. I will never doubt you again. I am so sorry.
Frutella are cracked, and Vanguard with a sub just showed us what they can do. That's Vanguard for you. This is what you have to do, what you are facing here in this Battling Pool, the monster that we have, that is Vanguard. And now Frutella need to find a counter, to find something to stop that momentum, that huge ability that Vanguard has to simply move forward without any care in the world, win every fight, bring all the points, all the coordination. It's like it's perfect control for Vanguard. Like, yeah.
And just looking at the replays, yeah, it's like they just didn't give up for a single second. That first push was also in the first minute, mind you. That was just the opening push. It was the game just started. Like I'm just not even trying to process what's going on. Or Vanguard just decided to KO already. That is absolutely insane. I am hoping for Frutella. They are learning and adapting on the fly. If we go to Rainmaker here, wow, just wow. That is insane from Vanguard. Not even charger does allow you to get a lot more mobile, but I didn't imagine it to be that mobile.
I mean, here's the thing. Every time you ask a top player what's the difference between top teams, they tell you it's small optimizations. And Frutella, they're a team that reaches top level. They're a top team in my eye. But right there, the difference wasn't small optimizations. The difference was Vanguard won every fight. Vanguard won every fight, took control of every corner of this map, took control of the objective. Vanguard did everything better. And right there, going into Rainmaker are starting with a lot of momentum.
Yeah, this is the momentum that you want and the finals for your team. This is not the momentum you're looking for as the opposing team here. Frutella took a little bit of a switch from Brew and changed their either for a more conventional Splat Charger with a Craft Tank, a very strong defensive tool for Rainmaker. Let's see if they can let's make this game last a little longer, or if Vanguard will have another ginormous push. Ends up early down for Frutella. Same with that Slosh, 2 players down, and that Rainmaker already at the checkpoint at that.
Well, Vanguard lost a player already, but they didn't care. They're still on the push, they're still getting more, and they re-grab that Rainmaker. Frutella able to defend, able to stop a push in its track, and right now are going to get the repop of the Rainmaker. They get to breathe, and this game is going to last longer than the previous one.
Yeah, they at least stopped a push, so that's very good for them. But Vanguard, I mean, earlier on breaking that checkpoint within a minute is very, very good. Especially the fact that they have 3 players down on Frutella's side, meaning the next push is almost free. They're all respawning now, but that Rainmaker is very big picked up and on their way to forward. And Vanguard's holding such a strong grasp onto that opening section of the base of Frutella here, with all the pressure in the world to push Frutella back.
Vanguard going close to the final score, but getting only to 12 right now. That Kraken needs to run away. Oh wait! They got that Splat out of the Kraken and are still dancing under everybody's nose. And jumping out! Vanguard can get away with whatever they want right now. Frutella struggling to push forward to get back into mid as Reiki is going to get a trade to the side.
Yeah, Vanguard putting it in 12 is huge. Frutella is looking for an opening, is looking to get some splash into the map. The lost 1 player though, and it seems like they just cannot get a single splash. Small optimization is definitely the key difference here between these 2 teams, and Vanguard, like you said, winning every single fight. But now there are still the losing players though, so Frutella is adapting, Frutella is evolving and slowly getting better and better. I think Frutella, this is a very good practice match in order to just get better and better. We do see the Rainmaker again in the hands of Vanguard, pushing forward, but there's only 1 player alive next. And that is the Rainmaker. I mean, the Stamper's alive, but nowhere near that fight. So for this push, they're just effectively dead. And this push has ended. But still, no points scored for Frutella. And that is something they really should change anytime soon.
Then Vanguard were 2 players down. They still pushed with the Rainmaker, put it in an awkward spot that slowed down Frutella in their push. And now Frutella has lost 2 players, and it's Vanguard taking back control. Mickey, who's completely unstoppable with any blaster in his hands, is absolute monster right there, getting another trade. Frutella defending as much as they can, stopping the Rainmaker before more points are being scored. But Vanguard are still very much in control of the map, Hat.
Yeah, Vanguard is not letting go of the map control. Vanguard is not letting go of the positioning. They're forcing Frutella in, and this is a key point here. Frutella is being forced to be played in positions they don't want to play in. They're forced into angles they don't want to be in, and this is the strength of Vanguard. This is what they excel at. This is how they're controlling this game. And not just controlling the map, they're controlling the opponent's movement here with a Craft Tank to put in a very good spot. Counter that just freshly placed Tacticooler, and also with a Tacticooler of their own. Frutella is just slowly getting into more and more trouble as Vanguard is pushing the Rainmaker closer and closer.
Ooh, yes. And right there, Vanguard are still maintaining their control. And Frutella defending their side of the map, making sure that no more points are scored, but entering the last minute of this game. Frutella needs to ride the fact that they have the numbers advantage. They need to grab the Rainmaker and go forward.
Yeah, Frutella is looking for an opening, is trying to create something which they can utilize to push that Rainmaker further. However, Vanguard really just says the audacity they have to push forward. Yeah. We shall not allow, and just pushing them back instantly with the Rainmaker pop of their own. 25 seconds left, and no move from Frutella whatsoever. 3 players down for Vanguard though.
Oh. That's a wipeout! Frutella gets a push, but they need to get rid of a checkpoint, but they will have a push. They should get the checkpoint at least, and with 10 seconds left in the game, that's going to be their last second chance to get in there, to get this game, but they already lost 2 players they need to grab, but Vanguard stopping them in their track. That's a 2-0 for Vanguard, but that's Futella learning, getting better, and answering the fight.
Yeah, Vanguard had a lot more trouble here maintaining dominance as much as they had in the first game. But I feel like for Clamblitz it's maybe just a little bit easier because you're not forced to an objective. Or if it is forced to like one little objective, your objective is kind of very loose on the map. But still a very strong performance from Vanguard. But I want to commend Futella because they did a lot better compared to game number 1. At least after the early big push to 12, they looked strong and even got a wipeout on Vanguard, which for them I think is huge.
I mean, this is the kind of momentum that Futella needs, but they need more of that momentum. They need to win the games. Right now, the second time in a row that Futella is down 2-0, but this time it's against Vanguard, and Vanguard, they look unfazed, they look happy, and they want to play more. Now going on to tower control on Ilter Ali, we know how dominant Futella can be on this map mode. Let's see if they're able to do that against Vanguard.
Yeah, that's the first time we played, or they played this in the stream. You saw against Tamaris, there was just absolutely no way Tamaris is going to move, but now the roles are, I think, completely reversed. As the last set was David versus Goliath, this is now Goliath versus King Kong, and I don't think Goliath is going to win. I mean, not even King Kong, it's Goliath versus Godzilla, and I don't think Goliath is going to win that one. But they still have a chance. It's not over yet. Futella is known to reverse sweep, so maybe they'll just do it again. Wouldn't be their first rodeo.
Futella is never a team that I would count out, whatever the circumstances. They've earned the right to say that they can get a comeback, to say that they can bring the fight, that they can take a game, that they can do one more. But Vanguard have a different reputation now. They're the best team in Europe. That's it. They're just better. And right now, Futella are in a rough spot. As we'll see what Vanguard is going to do, bringing all new weapons on the side of Vanguard. They know they can adapt and make it work.
Yeah, 4 new weapons is a very nice way. And all these weapons are so strong as well, especially that Stamper with that Booyah Bomb. In a small map like this, especially where it's a very linear map, because it's a straight line, this Booyah Bomb can cause so much trouble. The Stamper can cause so much trouble. 3 players down effectively on the side of Futella. They're all respawning because of the Tacticooler. But it is Vanguard who has the first push, broken that first checkpoint instantly, and already working their way against the second checkpoint.
And right now, it's very much Vanguard taking control, getting to the second checkpoint already, as Futella is defending as much as they can with 3 players down. Vanguard will have to move back. You can't shock here. They know they're not gonna let you. It's still Futella. Here comes the Kraken by Vanguard to delay things, to allow the rest of the team to come back, as Futella is on the tower going for the first checkpoint.
Yeah, they're finally getting some push momentum in compared to the last game. They're only 1.1 push, but now they're getting something a bit more early on, meaning they can actually get the lead here if they can break that second checkpoint, which they are on their way to do so. It looks like Vanguard just doesn't have a lot of responses to whatever Futella is throwing at them right now. That EDD on the tower now very strong in position. The lead has been swapped to Futella. The first time this set they have the lead here, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, very nice push by Futella, able to set themselves, and they're still here. They haven't lost that many resources. They still have a lot of presence around to deny 2 down onto Vanguard. It looks like Futella are able to get some momentum going.
Yeah, Futella now finally in a position where I think they're a bit more comfortable fighting Vanguard here. However, 2 players down. Vanguard is going to step up their game as well. If they were playing in second gear, they're going to up that the third gear here, as they're getting a lot of map control very, very quickly and are on the tower looking for a big splat. by that Stamper. Now Lucan using the blue bomb, trying to get rid of that Charger, pushing it a little bit back. Pulling the Charger, even more awkward spot. Kraken out in the field as well. All the specials are now offline. The only one near is the Tactic Cooler, and they used it, and it's now on the field. Missiles are also out as well. Big splat by the Rubber Blast, looking for the second one. Gets the second splat as well, and that lead 3 players down has been swapped.
Vanguard right now on a victory lap. There's nobody for Brutella to stop them and past the third checkpoint. This could be the last seconds of this tournament. It's looking pretty rough. The Kraken on the tower will get the KO. Vanguard once again are your paddling pool champions.
Very good 3-0, and you were not lying, like I said earlier, that these guys are strong, because what an incredible strength we had here on the final game. 3-0 in the finals, usually not what we'd like to see, but a very dominant display every now and again is a very nice thing. But however, Brutella should not feel bad, because they put up an amazing fight against Vanguard and definitely put up a very good show against Tabari. So a very well-deserved second place in this tournament.
Yeah, it's been a great paddling pool, and we're glad to have it. Thank you to all the teams that joined, to everybody that watched, and of course to the team at Dapple Productions for having us, especially Jorian, our wonderful observer, who's always doing a banger job and giving us memes around. Now, Hat, before we say goodbye, can you plug yourself? Where can I find you on the internet?
You can see below my little shark icon. You can find me at @CasterHat on Twitter, where I post various stuff. Currently working on a Splatoon cosplay, so maybe you'll find some cool pictures there as I'm working towards my Comic-Con weekend. But more importantly, Pat, where can we find you on the socials?
Well, like you, it's written right under my face. It's PatJRTom on Blue Sky, where I spend most of my time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna tune Mickey from Vanguard, so stay tuned for that.